couple of months, I say couple, it's probably more like a year, but for the last year, we'll say, I've been doing kind of the same thing ish when it comes to my daily logs. So at the start of each week, I'll have a priorities list and then maybe a couple of other modules. So like a meals module, routines module, or like sections of the page. And then after that, I just get straight on into daily logs. So I have like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I, this time around, like, this year in particular, have been sprinkling in some little pictures of daily life just as kind of like some very easy, low key memory keeping. And it has been working fairly well for me. But what hasn't been working so well is the use of my monthly pages. When I'm working in my dailies, I just don't think to look back at these. And if I do think to look back, it's because I'm about to film the next monthly setup and I'm like, oh, you haven't filled these in. Okay, it's not quite as bad as I'm making it sound, but it isn't great, right? So if we think about my monthly dashboard, usually, I'm pretty good about filling this in. This month, no. Jess and her journal are in a bit of a slump. We will end up talking more about this in the video we have coming out later this week, which is my May setup. So thinking about like, start of journal setup or like start of month setup rather, these kind of pages, the things that get me cool, calm, and collected for the month ahead. What we're looking at today, though, are more so the daily log spaces, or what is kind of like a weekly daily hybrid type thing. I like to have some sections at the start to help me out, and then I just go into daily logs. And those do work fairly well if I am motivated to get in and do it. And recently, it's been a bit of a struggle. Let's put it that way. It's been a bit of a struggle. So in thinking about the month ahead and what I kind of need from my planner, because I like to start with purpose. I like to make sure that my journal is going to serve the function I have for it. Part of that function is creativity. Part of that is getting in, being creative, like bringing elements together and stuff and feeling like my creative well has been filled. But another very large part of that is getting stuff done. And if we think about the breakdown of time that I have available to me next month, a decent chunk of that is going to be taken away because I'm going to go wild. All right. So I find that when I go away, like on any trip, it doesn't need to be like an overseas trip, but when I go away, my tendency is I don't use my journal as much. So I want to make sure that in setting up the structures that I have for the daily logs, or the daily log spaces, the weekly log spaces, I'm mindful of the fact that that is something that it's like a typical pattern of behavior, I suppose. So if you are thinking about doing this, if you're thinking about getting ahead for a month and you're like, okay, I'm going to set up all of my weekly logs in advance so that I already have the spaces there because I know it's going to be a busy month and I just want to be able to get in and write things down and all of that kind of stuff, do be mindful of what is happening. So for instance, given the fact that I'm going away, I'm going to need a packing list. It's going to be pretty important. Otherwise, I will inevitably forget something. I will not need as much space for that week that I'm away. I'll probably need a like before I go type list. So these are the kind of considerations that I put in before I start putting things into the journal, right? But that's enough about what I'm doing. What are you up to? What are you going to be working on while we're hanging out here together? Is it journal stuff? Is it setting up for the new week? Is it doing your laundry? Whatever else, let me know. Let's see. I see a couple people are here for their first live, like, oh my God, I caught it live. And I'm like, so glad to have you here. Thank you for being here with us. But if we flip forward. Now, given the fact that the May setup hasn't actually happened yet, you are going to get a little bit of a spoiler on the theme. I don't think it's a big deal, but I had to set up at least one weekly space for the thumbnail of this video. So week 1 is already done in the sense of like I've got a space for my priorities, I have a space for my meal plan, and then I've got a little migrated section for anything I want to bring over from the previous month. After that, though, we're going to get into the daily logs. And I'm thinking for those daily logs, I'm going to give myself this rest of page because I'll do it in 2 columns, and then also probably this full spread, which means week 2 will start here. But this guy needs some decoration. Let's see. Should be heading to sleep, but journaling inspiration. Yeah, I understand that feel very well. Doing some cute Easter coloring while you watch. Oh, that sounds like such chill vibes. I love that. Setting up a new reading journal. So exciting. I love new journal setup time. It just gets me so super pumped. And I am like already thinking ahead to my reading journal and what I want it to be because I need to probably set up another one. Weekly reset. Cry. Yeah, I kind of missed mine yesterday, to be honest. I had it on my calendar and then I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to go and play Xbox. which I felt was a good use of my time. I had a good time. Been planning your reading journal for May. Looking forward to Ghosty Goober's readathon. Yay! Let me know if you guys are getting involved in the Goober readathon. I'm really pumped for it. I have kind of like half planned my TBR because I am a bit of a mood reader, but it's nice to have kind of a plan going in. Otherwise I like will start reading things and they don't really tie to prompts, and then I don't get points, and then I'm like, oh no. But let's see. Just been watching the Planner Pals podcast. Nice. I love it. I'm glad that you enjoy watching us and our podcast together. It's usually quite chaotic. Typically speaking, Mark is the one who does the editing for it, but this week he was away, so I did the editing. It takes me such a long time to edit those. I am always very happy when he decides to do it. But in terms of supplies for today, I have them in this nice plastic tray, which you can see is actually a little drawer. It has a little, what's this? A handle, that's the word. So this is where I've been collecting all of the supplies. I don't think I'll necessarily use every single one of them on every single layout, but one of them is this little Ultra Olive notepad, which came in a subscription box, so you can't sadly get it anymore. And I used the kind of collage rule. Is this a collage rule? I don't know. It's very faint, hard to see. I used this on one page, but then on the back there's a grid, and the grid works really nicely for my meal plan. So I'll probably be using that. Other bits of collage materials and such, because as you probably saw, we're doing some collage style stuff. It's just a fun way to be a little bit scrapbooky and a little bit creative and feel like I'm bringing multiple elements together, which is something that I think I kind of missed from the month prior, or I guess the current month, I guess. Yay, I'm glad you like the color palette. I do too, which is kind of why we're using it. This kind of combination of like the soft brown, the soft pink, and the green, like we've got in this tape, I think that's like my happy place, at least currently. So I figured, given we're having a bit of a slump time, we're feeling a little bit meh about our journal, we'll get into a palette that we kind of know sparks joy, I suppose. So in terms of the brown paper that we've been using on these corners, this is literally a lunch bag. Like, you go to the supermarket, you buy the brown paper bags that people, I don't know, at least used to put their lunch in. That is what we are using. I've just taken it apart and scrunched it up so that it has some texture. The nice part is about, journaling materials and such. If you have like packing paper that you're like, ooh, I could use this in my journal, just save it and then use it like this. And because it's a brown paper bag, it's like, literally a lunch bag. I don't really mind scrunching it up and putting it into my journal because it didn't really feel like it needed to be kept like special and pristine or anything like that. If I took one of my scrapbooking papers and scrunched it up like this, I'd probably feel a little bit like hesitant to do that, but this isn't too bad. So I like to alternate the corners that I'm using. So we used these corners last time. We'll use these corners for this page here. And I've just been ripping pieces off and putting them into the corners. So I'm also going to need some scissors. Otherwise, that's going to make my life hard. We've got two different types of scissors at the moment because I needed to replace my big ones, but these ones are quite stiff. I don't know, probably because they're new. And then we have the little ones. These ones are so good. I love these scissors so much. But let's see. Keep losing your pencil. Oh, gosh. See, the thing that I always get is when I am working in my journal, doing stuff, or put my pen down, but I'll put it here, which, of course, you guys can see, but from where I'm sitting, it is invisible. I'm like, where the heck is it? Where has it gone? Let's see, if you scrunch up black paper. Oh, yeah, paper with black print. The white of the scrunch makes it look like lightning or cracks. That is pretty cool. Those look like pruners. Yeah, they literally do, eh? So they've got this little, I don't know, safety clip. You just take the safety clip down, and then they're little snippies, and they're beautifully sharp, which, of course, that's a safe way to practice with scissors. Don't do that. But they are supposed to be good for people who get, like, sore hands with the, typical scissors, cutting like this or whatever. I do find that my hands get less sore with these, but because the blade is shorter, they're not so good for things that are like, I don't know, cutting out my reading journal book covers type thing, because I line all of the book covers up in a long line like this, and because you want to cut like a really long piece, it's just easier with something that's a bit longer in terms of the blade. But they're pretty good. They're both good scissors. These were the ones that I already like started with because they were given to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love these, and I got another pair, so now I have two. And then these ones I got to replace a pair that I had like so many years. I had them for ages, to the point where the little screw bit here had become loose, to the point where you couldn't actually tighten it, which meant the blades of the scissors didn't actually sit nicely together, which made cutting anything a complete mission. Do not recommend. Yeah. Yeah, I think that it's supposed to be good for people who have fine motor issues as well. I mean, like, don't quote me on it, but I think that that's kind of like part of the point of them, essentially. But you bought yourself a journal, but you're scared to start. I completely understand that. I am still scared to start sometimes, especially if I'm like tackling a theme that I haven't done before or something like that. Anything that feels kind of in the territory of this is uncomfy because we haven't really done it before, that is where the FOMO, the fear of messing up, really kicks in. So we're gonna cut out this piece. The nice part also about using a brown paper bag is that I don't get too precious about how much I'm using. I say too precious. I'm still kind of precious. It is in my nature. But with other types of paper, like, you know, marginal of notepads or like anything that feels like a limited edition, I get very like hoarder tendencies, kind of a thing, and I save every tiny little scrap. I'm like, you are not going to use a like 1 dot grid by 3 dot grid piece of paper, but I might one day. I might need that piece of paper sometime, so I hold on to it much longer than I should. So I think that what we're going to do is we're going to stick in all of the brown paper first, because 1, task batching, yay, and 2, glue stick using, not yay. I don't enjoy using a glue stick very often, but for this in particular, because of the type of paper it is and such, I find that getting good coverage with an adhesive is a lot easier with a glue stick. So we'll just stick this down in the corner. Doesn't need to be perfect because I can trim off any of the excess, which is definitely what I'll do. But I also want to make sure that it doesn't put glue on the other side. So, and you don't have to press this down perfectly either. If you want to kind of leave a bit more of the texture and such, you can make it, I don't know, less stuck down. We're just going to take a piece of paper from the scribble book. Gently rip that out. So that then it doesn't adhere to the other side. It just adheres to this paper instead, which is fine. I don't mind that. But giving it a little press down, because we have adhesive all over the edges as well, and I don't want them to touch the underside. That looks all right. Cute, 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 cute. We're going to do this top corner, and we'll probably do, I don't know, however many layouts I need. FOMO, yes, you and all your crafts. Also worried about gonna hoard everything. Yeah, I'm getting better. I'm slowly but surely getting to a point where I'm feeling more comfortable about getting rid of items that I would otherwise keep, because I feel this kind of like compulsion to keep them. Like, oh gosh, you're gonna run into the instance where you don't have that one tiny piece of paper that you've been saving for however many moons. And I think that the main issue with it becomes remembering that I have them. Because if I don't remember that I have them, then I don't think to use them, and then I just get out like another fresh piece of paper or whatnot and rip it up or cut it out or whatever else. I need like a little bin. A little bin would be really great. In fact, I might get a little bin. And by that I mean a little box that I'm going to call a bin. God. Thankfully I have a small hoard of boxes near me, but this one, it's a nice box. That's why I kept it. We'll just keep this box over to the side, and we're going to chuck the paper scraps in it so that then I don't make a mess of my desk. Instantly chucked it out of the box, not into the box. Come on. I got a big box for a reason. Thank you. There we go. So here's my waste bucket. I'm like, where are they? They're in the corner. Like, I swear I got it in the box. I swear my aim isn't that bad. It might be that bad, but try to start bullet journaling at the start of the year and then never actually filled it out. Yeah. Want to try again, especially after all the cute tape you bought. Yeah, I think that in terms of like any new practice, it does take, funnily enough, practice. And bullet journaling, I recently described to myself as the most masochistic version of planning there is, because you have to set everything up yourself. I'm not sad about it, because I love bullet journaling. I love working in my bullet journal and such. Even though me and my bullet journal are having some trying times right now, we're just in a bit of a slump. I know we will get back to our happy place. So I'll put the glue stick somewhere where it's easily reachable, and then this little piece will get adhered. Adhered? Yeah, that's a word. I'm just like, is that a word? Adhered to the corner here. There we go. Looks pretty good. And then just lightly pressing it down. If you want to kind of like iron out the wrinkles, then maybe you shouldn't have scrunched up the paper to start with. I'm kidding. But you can press it down quite aggressively to get rid of those wrinkles. But we're going to flip on over and do the same thing in the opposite corners, which end up being this one and that one. And we're going to do this for, I don't even know how many pages. As many as I need, effectively. But currently reading your IRL book club. Oh, that you're very behind on. I have not started the book for the Boudreaux Buddies book club for this month. It's on the list, notably, because I don't want to get shunned out for not reading the book. We're going to do that one here. Yeah. Just be flipping paper. Yeah. 20 minutes of just flipping paper. I'm trying to find the correct orientation because, not all triangles are created equal. But yeah, I need to read the book. I will get to it this week because our meeting is next week, I'm pretty sure. The book for this month is Strange Beasts. Yeah, not one, multiple, by Susan J. Morris. I have no idea what it's about because I do not read blurbs because I don't like spoilers. And I think I've just been ruined by movie trailers. Let me know if you agree with this, but I swear movie trailers are getting worse. Like, they just give away too much of the plot. So I don't know if you guys have seen Passengers. Don't worry, I won't spoil it for you. But there was a movie called Passengers. Had Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence, and one of the kind of like parts of the trailer spoils what I think would have been such a great like surprise for the audience. Like, if we as the audience had discovered that at the same time as one of the main characters did, I think that would have been an excellent twist. But they spoiled it in the trailer, and then we're told about it like at the very start of the movie. I think that obviously we're talking about trailers right now, so spoiling it in the trailer, no, bad idea. But also having it revealed to us so early in the film, I think was also a bit of a faux pas. I think it would have been better if we had have discovered it at the same time as the character who was most affected by it did. I think that would have been just a good plot device. But I'm not out here writing movies. I'm just gonna lightly critique them. Yeah, all of the funniest parts of the Lego Batman movie. Yeah, it's those kind of things, right? Like, if I'm gonna go see a comedy, I don't want to have every single joke spoiled, like revealed in the trailer, because it's like, cool, watch the trailer, already done. Or the same with kind of like rom-com movies where you can pretty much guess the entire plot just based on the trailer. Like, they show you the main conflict point and they show you the kind of, getting back together part and stuff. I know that a lot of rom-com movies are quite formulaic. I don't care. I like them. It makes it for an easy watch or whatnot. But it does mean that as a viewer, you kind of let down because you don't get to have the good reveals. You kind of just know exactly what's going to happen before it happens, which makes for somewhat boring cinema. And I know that, like, part of the reason that they probably do these things, part of the reason they show you as much as they do is so that then you're kind of incentivized to go and see the film, which, yeah, okay, sure. And they kind of want to safeguard expectations possibly, but like, I want to be surprised. And that's why I avoid any kind of spoiler like that or trailer. I do avoid movie trailers nowadays. I used to actually really enjoy watching movie trailers. It was one of my favorite parts of going to the cinema and having the cinema experience. Not so much anymore, which is a bit unfortunate. But anyway, so in going through and putting these ones down though, I just want to be mindful of how many pages I'm using, because I don't need to fill up the entire rest of my notebook with this, but I want to make sure that I have enough space for everything I'm going to be putting in here. I'm not going to put glue the whole way to the edge here. Blech. And just put that in the corner here. That looks pretty good. There's a part where the paper bag kind of doubles over itself. I don't really want to stick that in my journal. It's kind of hard to see, but there is a little doubled up part here. And it's just going to add bulk to the journal because it doesn't really do anything like visually or decoratively. Yeah. Did you ever give out a goober sticker of a ghost reading a book? Yes, oh, that's cute. I didn't ever like, give out a sticker, but like the actual kind of images, a lot of them come from Canva, so I wouldn't be surprised if there are pictures out there. Some of them have been like, taken and changed by us. So we take the Canva images and we bring multiple ones together. So for instance, like the Ghosty Goober for the Goober Readathon, that is one that I've taken like multiple separate pictures of ghosts and like chopped and changed them so that I could get one that actually looked the way that I wanted it to. Whereas our kind of like Boudreaux Buddies Book Club logo, the ghosts on that are pretty much just like colored in by us because they were just line work that you get on Canva. But yeah, we do not have any like official stickers or merch, if you're wondering. Yeah, you can't watch any Marvel trailers. See, this is the thing. It's like I know that one of the things that Marvel did, at least for the what was the big Avengers one? Endgame, yeah. For the Endgame, for that Avengers movie, they had a people. Wow, they had some kind of team of people who were working on the trailer. That made like multiple trailers with multiple different parts, and some of those parts didn't even end up in the movie. That's what gets me, is when like you have a trailer that has a funny part in that trailer, and then that part isn't even featured in the film. You're like, what was the point? Like, I guess in a sense that doesn't give you a spoiler, but then it gives you expectations that don't get met because that part isn't in there. Yeah. Didn't watch the Netflix movie Carry On because that's where we saw the trailer. We felt that we'd seen the whole movie. Exactly. And I think that the thing with the Netflix trailers is that because they autoplay, you have to be pretty vigilant. Otherwise, you will just spoil the movie for yourself. Okay, so this one has two parts. Like you can kind of see there's two pieces of the paper bag that have come together. So we'll pull that off. Yeah, if you're wondering how I know that, it's because Vogel is very into that kind of thing. He at least used to. He doesn't as much anymore, but watches a lot of well, okay, that's not even fair because he does still do a chunk of it, but he would watch a lot of movie review type media. My personal favorite is the Kill Count, which is not so much like a review, but it is a good time. We'll put that one in this corner. That looks pretty cute. I might need to get a new piece of paper here because this one's getting quite sticky. We'll just flip it over itself. If you're wondering where this piece of paper came from, it was from an Archer and Olive notebook order. The paper that they come wrapped in. This is just one of those papers out of the box, and I'm just using it as scrap. But I'll put this one here. I think that's the nice part about having all of my pages decorated for the month ahead of time is that I won't feel like I'm kind of wasting. It's not wasting, it's using, but quote, I won't feel like I'm wasting time throughout the month coming in and decorating my journal. But I will also get to use a decorated journal because I like it when my journal looks nice. And if my journal doesn't look nice, I get sad. And if I'm sad, I won't use my journal. Then I won't get things done. Well, like, I'll get things done, but I won't like it. Yeah. You cancel your Netflix because of the IP sharing thing. It was just greedy of them to penalize people when it's already so expensive. Yeah, I think that the hard part about Netflix is that it is, at least of my streaming services, it is the most expensive one. I think that's still the case. So it is very much like okay, well, how much do I have to use this to actually make it worthwhile? And one of the ways that I felt like I made it worthwhile was by sharing with somebody else. Because then it's like multiple people viewing, you get more view time out of it. It's increased benefit there. I will say though, in terms of like the user experience, I think that Netflix has the best user like interface or whatnot compared to the other ones. At least from the ones I've used, because I haven't used like, I don't know, is Hulu a thing? Because it's not a thing here. We need another piece of paper. So good scrunch. I just like scrunch it up and then unscrunch it and then re-scrunch it a bunch of times. If this is annoying, I apologize. It's okay. We'll be done soon. But the only review site you check out regularly is Does the Dog Die? Nice. Yeah, I don't watch like a lot of review media, but Vogel does like podcasts and such. He has a couple that he watches that they do a bunch of review type things, which is usually like obviously when you watch reviews or whatnot, there is a chance of being spoiled by things. And some reviewers do the spoiler free versus the spoiler review, which is kind of nice. So you have that opportunity to not get spoiled. But when you have a like a spoiler tolerance like mine, where you're just like, yeah, maybe not. Yeah, that makes it a little bit trickier. I very much enjoy this point though. Yeah, the cinema has gotten too expensive. Exactly. And I think this is the thing. It's like, because Vogel really enjoys going to the cinema. I am more picky about the cinema because I'm just like, my couch is more comfortable. My couch doesn't have other people who could talk over my film, which, oh my gosh. My couch also offers snacks that are fresher and at a better price. Like if I make popcorn at home, it is going to be fresher than what I get at the cinema. And also, I can pause and go to the bathroom if I need to. I will say though that the nice part about the cinema is that because you can't pause, because you have gone out for this experience and you've probably paid a little bit more money, I'm usually more present in the moment. Like I will be more attentive to what I'm watching because I don't have distractions. Like I don't have my phone out in the cinema because I'm not one of those people. And I will, it becomes like part of an experience as opposed to just like watching a film. If I just want to watch a movie, I'll do it at home. I usually will turn a cinema outing into like a proper kind of like date or social date kind of a thing, because other parts of the experience, like just comforts and whatnot, it's just better at home. Personal opinion on that one. Vogel is like, no, you have to go because then you get to see it on the big screen and they've got like the better audio and rah, rah, rah. I'm like, why did you spend X $1,000 on a soundbar? Okay, it's like 1,000. I don't even know how much it was. X $1,000 on a soundbar, and then tell me that the cinema has better audio. Rude. Get me a better soundbar. Okay, probably not. But this one here, we're gonna have to do a little page count. I know that we're not even close to how many I need yet, but I just want to make sure that I don't stick too many in, because as much as I do enjoy the decorating, I don't want to feel like I've kind of wasted pages in my notebook because I set up too much space. This one I'm going to try and stick as close as possible to the edge because I don't want the sticky stuff hanging over the edge too much. That looks pretty good. Good contact with the page. Thank you so much. So if we go back to the start and just have a look, do a little count, because right now it's looking a little bit of a mess. Yeah, you don't go to the movies anymore because of the fact that movies and theaters are too loud for me. Yeah, that is also very fair. Another reason that I find it hard to go to the movies is that, like, I cannot hear what the people are saying. I don't know if it's the sound balancing. I don't know if it's because they're mumbling or like whatever it is, but I just can't. I need subtitles, but they don't do that at the cinema. Like at least ones I go to, they don't really do that. So yeah, it makes it a little trickier. So in terms of the, yeah, very good, very good. We have week 1, and then that's probably going to go to about here, and then this will be week 2. Now, which week 2 is the week before I go. So this one we're probably going to need ample space for. So we'll use the same amount of space as week 1 because those will be like my, yeah, rah, rah, get stuff done weeks. So that looks pretty good. So just to count myself again. I feel like, you know what would be really helpful here, Jessica? Sticky notes. So you know what you're doing. And a pen. I need to write things down. Where's my pencil case? Gosh. You'd think that in tidying up your desk you'd be able to find things better. No, because now everything is not where you left it. So we've got week 1. Make sure that that's dry before I put it down onto the page, because this one is already labeled week 1, so I don't need to like relabel it, but that will be week 1 continued. This one will be week 2 with like the main kind of setup of week 2 with the priorities list, structures, all of that kind of thing. Yeah, as a deaf person, the cinema is ridiculously inaccessible. Yeah, I don't know what the closed captioning services are or whatnot. They never have subtitles. The device they give you is like an iPhone and you can't read that and watch it once. Yeah, that's a bit weak, because I've never tried to use one of those. Because it's like, okay, I just need to like really focus my attention on what's being said, and I can usually make it out because it's not so much a deaf thing. It's more like a just processing thing, I guess. Shrug. I don't know enough about it, but it would be kind of unfortunate to like pay for the experience and then not really get to actually experience it in a way that would be kind of fulfilling, I guess. So week 1, week 2 we'll have 2. Week 3 is where we're going away. I say we as if Vogel's coming with me. We, me, myself, and I are going away. So this will be week 3. Week 3. And I leave like on the Wednesday. So it's really just the Monday and possibly part of the Tuesday that I need checklists for. So I won't need a lot of space for that. But I will end up putting in a list that's like a packing list, obviously, and also like stuff to do before I go, which I probably will actually include here. So it probably will not need 2 full spreads, but maybe a spread and a half. And I think the same can be said for week 4. So week 4, in terms of its structure, I'm going to put here. Week 4 will start here, and then it will roll over into this spread. So that's how many spreads I kind of need for this month, roughly. And in terms of like, how do you figure this out? Like, how do you know how much space they all need? This is very much from personal experience. Like, because I've been journaling as long as I have, and in particular journaling in this daily log style, I have a general feeling of how much space things take up. If you don't have that feeling, it might be just because you don't really pay attention to it a lot of the time, which is fine, totally fair. What you can do is just go back through your previous entries in your journal and do yourself a count. So often, like for instance, in my reading journal, I've been counting up the number of spreads I use per month as a rough estimate of how many months I'll be able to fit in the journal. So I think for January, it was 8. For February, it was 9. For March, it was 9. For April, I left myself 9. I think I might only use 8, that kind of thing. So that can just kind of help. Also, we're at the 32-minute mark and we haven't even had a drink break. Oh my gosh. Tink, let me know. What are we chugging today? I mean, you also don't have to chug it. You're allowed to sip it, especially if like it's some kind of drinks that you're just not supposed to chug. I am having water. Very good. So put that one back on the floor because it's heavy. Tink. Week 2, week 3. So we need 1, 2, 3 more. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear up all of my little pieces of paper as, again, a nice little like task batching type thing. This one could be used, but it's like awkwardly small. I don't know. Maybe it could be used in a corner. This lower corner, possibly. Gives me a little bit more space for the week. Okay, so you can sit there. We're going to cut out another square type piece of paper. Yeah, to make these triangular corners, you just effectively like take your square, make it all scrunched up, and then rip from one corner through to the other. Hey, water as well. We have Celsius, mango and passion fruit, and a blueberry cherry Gatorade. Wow, you got like a fleet. Right? Triple parked yourself. It's good to have options though. Yeah, out of curiosity, is your daily walk before or after the live stream on streaming days? It is before, which kind of incentivizes me to get out of bed because it's like, hey, don't want to be late for your live stream. I have definitely been late for some of my morning appointments because of my walking, but I'm just trying to get into the habit of getting that walk in. I think we're on day, I can do math in my head. 7 times 6 is 42? I don't even know. I feel like I'm curious, and now I want to go figure it out. If you guys are not aware, I have been walking. That is, which is the thing, right? I don't usually do a lot of physical activity, so for me to do physical activity is kind of a big deal. So I started just saying like, okay, we're just going to take a walk around the block type thing, which for me, my block takes me about 30 minutes to walk. When I first started, it was more like 40. So, we're showing little improvements or whatnot. But if we have a look at my data, scroll. So this was me on the 3rd to 9th of March, 0 exercise days, no walking. But then, ha. So this is what, 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, day 43. Oh, yes. So we're keeping this streak alive. Yay! But I've been finding that has been a very good way to start my morning. As somebody who doesn't really exercise, or rather who didn't, because now I do. I exercise now. I'm an exerciser. I've been telling Vogel I'm a walker now. And he's like, what, like a white walker? I'm like, technically yes, but also rude. But I like to think of myself as a street walker, but it's cool, whatever. So we've got this one done. We're trying to get my little exercise in, my daily moving around kind of a thing. I've been feeling a lot better, and I know, you hate it when the doctor's actually right, don't you? You're like, gosh dang it, why? Why did you have to give me the actual advice, and when I took it, it actually worked? Disgusting. So I have found, though, that my joints have been feeling a lot better from moving around more regularly. That's been kind of nice. I also have found that my energy has been better in general, which has kind of been good too. Especially like last Thursday was the day that I really noticed it, because Thursday is my energy slump day. That is the day that I'm pretty much can be relied on to just not get as much work done because I just feel meh. But I found that I actually did fairly well. Oh no, I know that Streetwalker means Lady of the Night. I'm just being a dick. In particular, the reason I go with Streetwalker is that, have you guys watched The Walking Dead, or at least you've heard of The Walking Dead? So there was this meme going around where a certain character passes, and our main character is kind of like crying about it to their kid, and they look like, very distressed or whatnot, but it also looks like they're just like pissing themselves laughing. And in that TV show, it's a zombie TV show. In that TV show, they call the zombies walkers. And he makes, in this meme, he makes some kind of joke about like, a street walker kind of a thing. The joke doesn't really matter. But now in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I'm a street walker because I walk on the street. Like, it's not because I'm like a lady of the night selling my wares to the highest bidder. I don't think there's anybody in my neighborhood who's actually actively looking for that kind of services on the streets in my neighborhood. That is not really a thing. Yeah, say what? You've called yourself a hooker before because you crochet? Yeah, I can't remember what it was that we were doing yesterday, but it was either yesterday or the day before, but I called Vogel and I hookers for some reason. But it was definitely not about selling our wares. Let's see. We need to put this one. Yeah, I said something in an older podcast. Yeah, I have a lot of moments like that because I'm not really like down with the lingo a lot of the time. Also, we do have regional differences a lot of the time too. Streetwalker is not one of them. Streetwalker is one that is the same here. It's not usually the most typical version of things that you would use. It's not the typical terminology, is what I'm saying. Rip. But it is what it is. Okay, that one can sit there. That looks pretty cute. I'm just leaving them on the pages so that then I've got them where they need to go. And then on the one after this, I think I want it a little bit bigger for this one, which means that this paper bag might be spent because this one has the double up and I don't really want to use the double up part. But that's the thing. This is a brown paper bag. I don't feel bad about not using it in full. It can just go into the recycling. We'll just put that in a little bucket, recycling bucket, and we can get out another one. Do a little scrunchy scrunch. If I can find one. I do have one. I just need to find one that I want to use. I think that this piece might not be too bad. I mean, it's got the fold in it, but it is a really nice large piece, so I think I will probably just use this. And we're going to cut that across here. And we'll put that one to the side because it's still usable. Oh, we actually already have a piece sitting right here, which would be good for this corner. Is that the right corner? I can't even remember which corners we're doing. That's that one, which means that's this one, which means that's this one. Yeah, that's good. And then this one can sit this way. This way. Figure out which way I want to put it. That looks good. Okay. just for the purposes of being able to stick that paper down in a way that doesn't get irritating throughout the month. That's what I'm kind of thinking here. I want it to lay down rather than up. That kind of makes sense. Like the piece that's on top, like this, sits down, because if it sits up, then it'll probably just irritate me more. Alrighty, gorge. Now to stick those down. Wait, is this the last one? Week 4? Yeah, week 4. Cool. Adhesive time. Yeah, there's a crocheting podcast called The Happy Hooker. Nice. I love it. I actually quite like it when people take words like that in terminology and such that has like a different meaning, and then kind of like put it into something that's a lot more innocent, I suppose. I think it's funny. It is a very specific type of humor, but I like it. You got spoiled on Glenn beforehand and 100% refused to continue the show. That's fair. I really enjoyed The Walking Dead. I think I got to the introduction of Negan and then stopped watching. But I kind of want to go back to the island. I really want to go back and possibly watch a bit more of it. I don't think I'll necessarily finish the show, but I think that it would be fun to go back and do a little bit of a rewatch. That's the problem with a lot of the shows that I start watching. I don't finish them. I'm very good at not finishing a show. I'm a serial show starter and not finisher. We watched a show called Fringe. That one was actually a really good show. I really enjoyed it. We got to the last season and I was like, oh, let's just take a break. I'm kind of fringed out for a bit. Never got back to it. Never finished that show. We watched Buffy. I got to season... Gosh. I want to say season 5 because it just sounds right in my head, but I don't think it was even season 5. It was the season where they go off to, like, college, university, whatever. People have different terms for it. They go off to do tertiary studies and... there's an episode with like a body swap, and I got to that episode and I'm like, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to watch the rest of this. Because it was a body swap with a character I don't like. So I was like, I don't care. I don't care for this. But I'll put this one here. And I know that it's only going to last one episode because I looked it up. Even though I'm spoiler averse, every so often I'll look up a spoiler to just save myself some heartache. I looked it up. The body swap lasts for all but one episode, but even that I was just like, nah, can't do it. Yeah, I think that might be season 4. I don't even know. I'm glad that you liked Fringe too, because I thought Fringe was great. It was a really interesting, because I don't watch a lot of shows like it. It was a very interesting show for me. But we'll that one up here, we'll this one down here. Get back out sticky paper, which is just a piece of paper with glue on it. It's not actually sticker paper. My sticking paper. Because I don't like using glue sticks because they are messy. But as said, for that kind of level of adhesion that I'm looking for, it is easier to do it with this. I feel like I've stuck the glue on the wrong side. It's fine. It's gonna be fine. There we go. Yeah, Fringe used to be very popular around here. So addicted to Lost until the last season. Yeah, I watched, I think, the first season of Lost when it was kind of first coming out. I think we kind of half watched it as a family. Then it got a little weird, and I just fell off with watching it. There are a lot of shows that I feel kind of like semi-compelled to get back to, and just don't because I watch other things instead. Like, yeah, I get very obsessive is not the word that I'm looking for here, but I'll get like super into one show for a period of time and then I'll like binge watch a whole heap of it, often not finishing it though, and then be like, oh, I'm a little like, done with this. Like I was watching House over December. I think I got to at least to season 2 or 3, watching a lot of episodes because these are back in the day when TV show seasons had like 24 episodes or whatever. So I watched like a whole heap of it and then just stopped. That one I don't feel too bad about, except for the fact that I printed off a whole bunch of the little TV show like posters or whatever for my reading journal, media journal, and then I'm not going to use them now because I'm probably not going back to the show to finish off watching it. It's fine. It's a little annoying, but it's fine. This one goes here. I usually like to put the bigger one at the top and the smaller one at the bottom, mainly because of how I like to do my headers and such. I think that having the bigger one there is nice for the header. But that was you for Lucifer. Yeah, we had one episode left of the second to last season and just didn't watch that one last episode. I think I ended up watching it at some point last year, just because we were sitting down to watch dinner and we couldn't think of what to watch. And I was like, well, hey, like, you know, we used to enjoy Lucifer. Let's just put an episode on. And of course, this was like an episode right after another character had died or whatever, and everybody's all emotional. And Vogel and I are just sitting there like, we have no emotions tied to this because it's been too long. We just kind of don't care anymore. But it was good to finish it off. It was good to feel like it was complete. And that's the thing that gets me about these TV shows and such that I start watching and I just don't ever finish them, is that it's not like I just kind of let it be. It's like it replays in my head, like, you have to finish that, you have to finish that, you have to finish that, you have to go back and make sure that you get that last one in and all of this kind of stuff. And I'm like, in my soul, I know I don't. I know I don't actually have to go and finish those off. Like, I can just call where I'm at done, and that's okay. But that's not what my brain lets me do. My brain's like, no, ma'am, please go back and finish off your TV show. Otherwise, we can't actually kind of check it off. We can't close that loop. It's not actually finished. Because I was talking to Vogel about it the other day, and I was like, I don't think we talked about it in terms of Fringe. Fringe is like a running joke, but it was effectively like, oh yeah, we should really finish off insert show here. And he was just like, just don't do it. I think it was the Vampire Diaries for me, because I have one season left of the Vampire Diaries and then I'm done. And he's like, yeah, I finished it. It wasn't worth it. I was like, oh, but I feel like that story isn't finished though. Like in what I have experienced of it, it is not finished. But it'll be okay. So now as that's stuck in, looking beautiful, yep, there we go. That's my journal done. I'm not leaving it like this. I do want to wait for the adhesive to dry a little bit before I go and start cutting things out though. Otherwise, I'm going to get glue all over my scissors. And like, yes, I could clean them up, but I'm not going to. It's not my happy place. What I do want to do is find the glue stick though. Otherwise, what a mess. There we go. Hi Siobhan. Pleasure having you here with us. Yeah, Vampire Diaries is not worth it. One day my mind will let me rest, and I will be putting kind of the lid on that and just saying it's finished. But I did put it down as one of my 25 things to watch this year. We'll move this cheeky guy out of the way so he can dry off. Go dry off. So for my reading and watching challenges for the year, so we have 25 books for 2025, which I think I'm making fairly good progress on. I was planning on reading a couple of these this month, but my reading this month has been not great. But in terms of watchables, I haven't been doing as well in watchables, but the Vampire Diaries final season is one of the watchables. It's one of the things that I would like to finish. You got to halfway through You season 3 and stopped. Well, what? We've got the last season of You either like coming out or just come out or something like that. I don't know. I don't keep up with these things. That one is on my list to watch this month because I kind of like I watched season 4 and I was like, okay, this is weird. Whatever. I'm like, I feel like we could have probably just finished at the end of season 3 and it would have been fine. But now as it's the last season, I'm like, I just want to see the end of this narrative. I want to see how it plays out. So I'm not too sad about sticking with that one. But let's see. Scroll. This month. Yes, this month in media, of the things that I set out to watch or read or consume or anything like that, I watched Twister with Vogel because that was his pick for like my friend pick for the year. I have not read any of these. I've read one book. It took me forever. It was How to ADHD. And I was just like, why is a book about ADHD this long? It was so long. Like, it was a good book. And I think that it's decent information and such, but it took ages. That's column D, so it's like read, 2 days off, 2 days of reading, a day off, read, day off, read, and I'm just like, that's like 2 weeks, which for me is a long time. It didn't really kind of like suck me in as much as some reads do, which don't even necessarily need to be like fiction reads. But anyways, so book club book is Strange Beasts. I have not started. I shall start later. Yeah, I think that point that you've got there, Jenna, is exactly one of my problems with telly, is just that they just overstay their welcome, and it kind of ruins it. What I find is that when they overstay their welcome, oftentimes they turn their characters into memes. Like they just kind of like latch on to one particular trait that the character has and just like beat it to death, kind of thing. Like if we think about Friends, for instance, and okay, I haven't seen a lot of Friends, but at the start of Friends, if you compare like the characters at the start towards the end or whatnot, some of them I feel like had reverse growth. Flander is a tone. I can't even. But sure, that word is a word. But yeah, Grey's Anatomy, I didn't even realize had as much, as many seasons as it does. That's definitely one that has been around for a while. Supernatural was in my mind, I think. I think also in theory from the creator was supposed to finish at the end of season 5. But that one stuck around. I didn't mind so much because I really enjoyed Supernatural, but it did also get to a point where I just kind of stopped watching. I'm like, yeah, I'm done, kind of thing. And that's the hard part about thinking about shows that I really like or really enjoy. It's like, yes, I really enjoy this until I stopped watching it. Very rarely do I finish a show, and very rarely do I think shows finish in a satisfying way. Ones that annoy me in particular are when they leave you on a cliffhanger and then the show doesn't get renewed. That always irks me. Or when you're really enjoying a show and then they're like, oh, we didn't get enough view time in the first whatever, however many days or weeks or whatnot, so we have cancelled it. I'm like, no. Just because I don't watch something right away doesn't mean I don't like it. I'm the kind of person who typically doesn't watch things on release day or buy the game on release or whatnot, and get the pre-sale and all of these kind of things, because I just can't be relied on to actually consume it in that amount of time. Yeah, at least Supernatural tried different things like musical episodes and Scooby-Doo cartoon episodes. Yeah, I think that in my mind, if a show is having a musical episode, the show should have finished. And this is the thing, is like I quite enjoy musicals. I think that they're a lot of fun, but if a regular show does a musical episode, it makes me think like, are you just like running out of ideas? Not that I minded any kind of musical episode from a lot of my favorites, but well, like they had the musical episode of Buffy, right? And they kind of played it off as like a some kind of entity, I think. I don't think I even got to the musical episode of Buffy. That's how much Buffy I didn't end up finishing, even though it's like a cult classic or whatever. But Grimm is a TV show that I really enjoyed, and they botched the ending. No! I think that one was on my list. This is the thing, I keep a lot of TV shows on my list, and I've gotten to the point where it's like, if the show doesn't actually have an official end, I usually won't watch it. This is slander to the Psych musical episode. I don't even know that one. A lot of them I don't know, and they're probably good and fine and whatnot. It's just, that's the kind of niggling thought in the back of my head, like, have you run out of ideas? It's like when they do the Christmas special, I'm like, have you run out of ideas? Because oftentimes those types of episodes interrupt a larger narrative, which is, I think, part of my beef, my minimal beef. It's not even beef, it's like half a taquito or something. But my minimal issue that I take with the musical episodes, it's like you're kind of interrupting a storyline that you've already been building, in theory, if you have a storyline, to bring me that. And this is also the thing that I have with watching shows after they're fully released, is that if I have waited a week for a new episode of insert show here, and you give me something that's like not what I signed up for, then it would irritate me. Like, for instance, if we're thinking about Webtoon, which is a kind of like manga graphic novel type app or whatever. So one of the things that I've been reading on there is Lore Olympus, which has been fully released at this point, at least on there. So every so often, because it was a weekly release thing, this person was effectively doing it for free. So I'm not trying to ream them out or anything, but every so often there's an episode, because they're also called episodes. That is just it's like a non-episode. It's like, hey, I waited a week, and because you were sick, and again, I'm not trying to be mean about it, but it's like, because you were sick, I waited a week, and I got like a Q&A episode or something like that, or just like your kind of like preliminary sketches or something like that. And it would just bum me out because I've waited a week to see the next installment and I didn't get the next installment. I am not so worried about it in terms of the webtoon thing, because I'm like, I said, it is free. Like, you are making this and not getting necessarily the monetary kickback or something that larger businesses of Hollywood are getting or whatnot. But when you're making a TV show and you're making me wait a week to see the new episode of said TV show, and then you give me something that is just filler, that's like, eh. I think this is also why they started shortening TV show seasons, because would have these 24 episode seasons or whatnot, and if you think about just where the larger narrative was, the larger narrative could have been told in 12 episodes or whatever. But you even find this with our TV show seasons that are now 12 episodes. You get to episode 8 and 9, it's usually around 8 and 9, and then something else just starts happening. It's like, no. You were building all of this tension and this intrigue and stuff for 6 or 7 episodes about this thing, and then you didn't have quite enough to hold me for longer, so you started this other thing over here. So for 2 other episodes, we have to just take pause from the main point of what we've been building to, so that we can pick it up again in the last 4 episodes of the season. It's kind of like the you guys seen Stranger Things? I haven't. I don't want to spoil anything. I can't even remember half of it anyways. So, ouch. I said ouch. It's for the journal. The journal says ouch. But there was that kind of part in Stranger Things, one of the seasons, where our main character runs off to the city and falls in with a different crowd or whatever, because they were going to try and make some kind of spin-off or whatever. I'm like, anytime you start putting in things just so that you can make a spin-off, I'm like, no, just make a new IP. I don't care. They did it in The Rookie. I just don't care. I don't want to know new characters. I just want to know how my existing characters are going. I don't like change. But there we go. We'll round off the corners so that we have some nice, smooth looking stuff. This one's looking a little janky. We'll trim that one as well. Trim. Sorry if that's loud. I apologize. It is, by the nature of the thing, loud. So while the paper is great, the paper is not a weekly setup. Yeah, you only got to season 1 of Stranger Things. I'm looking forward to the last season, again, because I like the idea of a finished narrative. I like it when things have gotten finished off. So we've got our paper in. The paper's looking pretty cute, but we need to start thinking about where everything else goes. Sorry, it's just emptying out the little paper scraps from the sky, which, yay! If we have a look back, so you can see the main decorative pieces we have is this green tape, which I like to put a couple of pieces down. We have this kind of collage panel piece, which the greatest part about this collage panel is that it's an individual sticker. Nice, easy collaging materials, because they just come as pieces like this. Love it. So good. So that one's nice and easy. This guy is the notepad from before, which is this one. So we will pull out a couple pieces of those. So that's week 1. We also need week 2, week 3, and week 4. Priorities list is just drawn in, and then the rest of these stickers I've already cut out for myself because I thought it would make my life just a tad bit easier, just a little bit. Yeah, if her city adventures had been integrated through the season rather than having it be stealth pilot episode. Ooh, I don't know which one we're talking about. Dead Like Me. I haven't heard of that show either. Also, we've had another half hour. Tink, make sure that you have some hydrations or whatever you're drinking, you do you. You pretty much quit watching TV. Yeah. That's another hard part about TV, is that like the time requirement to watch the thing can be very large, because it's not just, oh yeah, I'll do a 3-hour thing and then I'm done or whatnot. It's like oh hey, here's X episodes and X seasons. Like, I'm not going to use these scissors for that. I'm going to use my smaller ones because I think that cutting the fine line here is going to be easier. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm essentially lining up this piece of paper with the one I've already stuck in, so I don't have to remeasure things. Haha, sneaky hacks. And then just giving it a little trim in the corner so I know where I need to cut the rest of the paper up. Just using past Jess's measuring so that I don't have to measure it. So in terms of sizing, I have been working primarily in 2 columns in my A5 journal, which means that each of the columns are 6 centimeters across. So I've been cutting these pieces of paper just a little wider than 6 centimeters so that then it kind of looks a little bit more imperfect. It also gives me a little bit more of a border on the page, which has been kind of nice. So, Dead to Me with Christina Applegate. I watched the first season of Dead to Me. I haven't watched the second, and I don't know if I will. I also don't know if there are more seasons than just that. I didn't dislike it. It's just that I don't think I liked it enough to go back to it. And I also barely remember what happened. I think I watched like maybe the first episode of the second season, something like that. But yeah. I think, like, what top of my list in terms of TV shows right now, I'm still very much enjoying The Rookie, so I shall continue to watch The Rookie. Outside of that, I started watching The Perfect Couple. That one's only 6 episodes, so I do like that. There's only 6 episodes. So that one shouldn't be too hard to finish off. And I also would like to watch Vox Machina? Vox Machina? I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that one, but I thought that would be kind of fun. Oh, this is the wrong way around. I'm like, why isn't this lining up? These are all upside down. There we go. Cut from the correct side so that then my life is easier. Just gonna turn the notebook so that then I can line these up and do my little trim. So, line that up there. Looks cute. Little trim. Machina. Okay. Very good. Thank you for the pronunciation notes. Because is it with an O? I thought it had an A. Machina. Sound like, because it's like ma, but it doesn't matter. VM. I thought I would watch that. I've been getting very into the idea of D&D. I'm not probably going to play because that feels like a fairly large time commitment to like learn how to do it, and I also feel like it's not necessarily like my type of creativity to be able to do it, but I am interested in it, and thus I would be interested in watching other people play. And I figured that seemed like an easy way to get in. Oh, it's Latin. Okay, no wonder. I can't pronounce Latin. No wonder I'm having trouble. There we go. Boy Swallows Universe is a great Aussie show. I've heard of Boy Swallows Universe. I haven't seen it though. But we'll put that one there, and we'll get our paper rounder out again so that we can round off the corners that we just trimmed from here. Clip, clip, clip. Clip, clip, clip. This paper is much easier to cut because it is not 160 GSM, and it also doesn't have like multiple layers, which is why some of the corners get a little bit tricky, because it's like you don't just have the 160 GSM paper, you also have any of the paper bag, which the paper bag itself is thin, but every little bit adds up. So we trim those ones so that then it's looking super cute. Yay! Ha ha ha! So those ones will just get stuck in. I think I will label them now so that then they are ready to use. And then I'll at least put the M for Monday on so that then the M is in the correct place. Where is my pen? That's a great question. Do you use the meal listing in conjunction with the health journal that you started last year? I have been thinking about a revamp of the health journal, and we probably have a video coming about that soon, because I have more so been using the meal plan in conjunction with my recipe OneNote that we just recently started. Because not OneNote, Get Out. We just revamped it because the OneNote can't be trusted. So what I actually meant to say is the Notion. We have a recipe Notion space now. But yeah, I have been doing a little bit of thought about the revamping of the health journal, and we will have a video coming up about that. Probably next month, something like that. Anyways, I want this to dry off, and I don't know how readily it'll dry on this paper. So those pieces are looking good. Those pieces are looking ready for our weekly building, and now we need to think about like how we want to maybe decorate stuff, because the priorities list I'm just going to continue to draw in like this. I don't necessarily know if I need this much space. It's more so I just wanted to give myself ample space. Like, I know that the priorities list on week 3 is going to be a lot shorter, possibly even week 4, but week 4 I do technically have a little bit more time at home. I feel like I need to draw this out, otherwise I'm going to get myself confused. Where's a calendar? All right, we'll just drop it into Excel because it'll be a little bit easier. So we will bring you with me because it's always nice to see what we're doing. Okay, book 2. All good. There we go. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Hopefully it'll figure itself out. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Gorge. And we'll just make them a little bit bigger because my life is easier when things are bigger, and we'll zoom in a little bit so that we can actually see what we're doing better. Okay, so this Monday is going to be the 28th of the 4th. That plus 1, and you are going to be that plus 7, just so that then I figure out what I'm doing. Okay, cool. That's going to say, yep, the 7th of January, like 1990. That looks good. And that is going to be my 4 weeks. Okay. So in terms of my planning, I do cyclic planning. I don't do monthly planning per se, which means that I work on 4 blocks a time, like 4-week blocks a time. It just makes my life a little easier. I will not be around though here because I'm going to be going away, and I'll probably get back around there. Like I leave on the Monday in the US and don't get back until the Wednesday my time, roughly. Watch Adolescence. Yeah, I just watched Adolescence. That one was really interesting. It's only 4 episodes, and I thought the way they shot it was really cool. But anywho, so I'm away from that period of time, which means this week, lots of space, lots of writing, all of that kind of thing. This week, though, I only have 2 days that I'm at home, and one of them I'm going to be like packing, and my brother's graduation is happening, and all of that kind of thing. So not a lot will be happening. This one, in terms of like days that I can use the priorities list, it's like 1 day. This one has a bit more time to use the priorities list. And this one I'm going to need like at least 2 days of recovery probably after my trip. So 2 days of priorities list. Doesn't need to be huge. That's something to keep in mind for myself. So I'll just leave that on my screen so that I can remember it. But week 1's priorities list is chonky. I do not expect to use the whole thing. I'll probably end up sticking like a little plant sticker down the bottom here so that then visual interest kind of a thing. But we need to. Congrats on my brother. Thank you. I did nothing to help him, so I can take 0 credit. Okay, that's a lie. I totally helped. Because he's been training to be a teacher. I essentially like gave him all of my teaching resources and whatnot. And he's like, "Wow, Jess is so organized." I'm like, "Yeah, it's kind of my thing. I need to keep the chaos at bay, so organization is how I do that." But I need to pull out some elements. We're going to put the tapes down because the tape is nice. That one I just kind of like put a little piece on, so that's easy. We also have some book pages. This is an old thesaurus. Like you can tell how old it is because it's actually like colored and whatnot. And I don't even know how people used a thesaurus like this because it is just confusing. The layout of this is just confusing. But it's fine for collaging and pulling pieces out of it and such, and that is what I use it for. And we also have the little dot stickers that we will definitely put down somewhere because they're cute. And then it's just figuring out where the elements go. I kind of like this structure. I typically don't use the exact same structure every single time though, so I might change the positioning a little bit. But so this is week 1. This is just for decoration, so we can put down some tape, nice and easy. Nice. Sleep well. Pleasure having you here with us while you could be. So we can just put some tape down. This tape came, I think, as part of like the Artronal of Self-Care box last year, or whenever their last self-care box was, not the most recent one. And I've just been putting that kind of at the top and tail of the page. I probably shouldn't even put this one down first. I should probably check out what I want to do with the larger panel pieces, but I've done what I've done now, so this is on here now. That looks cute. I find that just having it overhang either side is a nice way to start my collaging. Now, as mentioned, I was thinking about putting in some of those panels before I start, or at least figuring out where I want them to go, because I found that putting this one down, I put this piece of tape down, and then I went to put this panel down, and I like kind of had to make it fit with what I already had, which was tricky. But these pieces are great because they're all kind of in the color palette we're using. This one feels like it should go along the top of a page, which I think might be kind of nice. I'm not going to put it on this page. I'm going to put it on this one because this will be the second week of week 2. And I don't want this to get in the way of anything else I'm doing. Yeah, I think that looks right. We'll stick that along the top. Okay. And I just use the dot grid to line things up so it's kind of straight. For instance, this kind of has a straight piece across the top here, so I can use that dot grid to help line me up with that. Go. And then trim off any of the excess that hangs over the edge of the page, because there's a tiny, tiny piece of excess here, which you can probably not even see. There we go. Now you can probably see it. How it overhangs. I don't want that sticky piece. There we go. Let's see. Last year's box. This year is very pretty, but last year's felt the need for you. Yeah, I didn't get this year's box. Mainly because, shipping, whatever. I have so many dang notebooks and whatnot. I definitely do not need it. If it goes on sale at some point, I might pick it up. I think I picked up the last one when it was on sale because I was like, oh, I don't need a self-care box. But then I thought that the tapes were kind of nice, so I wanted the tapes in particular. But there's that collage piece. Look at how easy that was, though. It's like, oh, look, a full-blown collage with just a sticker. Anyone know a site where people sell their unwanted A&O self-care boxes? I don't think they necessarily sell the box, but I do think that you'll be able to find individual pieces of it, probably on the buy-sell trade groups on like Facebook and such. Yeah, no, the book was upside down. I just found that it's easier to line it up with the dot grid for here if I have it a little bit closer to me, because I'm notably here. Makes it a little bit easier for myself. Yeah, when they did the big please, it's almost half off sale. You finally caved. Yeah, I'm a sucker for a sale. We love savings, and I think that the nice part about their sales a lot of the time too is that you can use the discount codes on top of them. So you're like, haha, even more savings! Yay! So I've typically been just doing one of these panels per page, so I won't be doing one along here. But we flip over. Let's see. I also haven't been doing it as part of this section because it gets in the way of things. So I might even be tempted to put this one over here so that then it feels kind of balanced in a way. I might put that one in here. I think that looks pretty cute. Now, just try and rotating the journal so that we can line it up with the dot grid, making my life just a little bit easier. And I don't want the letter to hang off, but I do want to make sure I maximize my writing space. So I'm going to put that here-ish So I've lined up this piece of the tape with the dot grid, or like, you know, the thing that looks like tape, whatnot, and laying that down like this. We have a little piece that sticks off the edge, just a little bit. I don't know if we can catch it in the light, but hopefully you can. There it is. That little corner there that sticks off the edge, but we can trim that. We fix it in post. It's all good. You're saving your pennies for the A&O sales other than the things that you've purchased already. And FOMO is strong. Yeah, I think that you do get to a point where your FOMO starts to kind of like lessen. But I do feel like my FOMO has lessened because I have so much from them. So like, obviously, different kettle of fish, having worked with them like as part of their, you know, ambassador team or whatnot, and getting sent product and stuff from that, and then whatever else. Like I have quite an extensive Archer Olive collection, so I've gotten to the point where it's like I can shop my stash and it still feels very fresh and new and all of that kind of thing. But I am also the kind of person who still saves up for the Archer and Olive sale, because it's like anything that is still kicking around and such, you can usually get it on a fairly decent discount, which is great because, as said, we love savings. Now, put that backing away, otherwise I will end up getting it stuck to something it shouldn't be, which would be annoying. It isn't sticky, but other things are sticky and it just makes a mess. So if this is week 1, then this will be the start of week 2, because week 2 has 2 pages, which means that the piece that I stick over here, I probably either want it to run along the top like I've got on the next page over, or maybe down the side, but honestly, probably not. Which way? I feel like that would go this way. Some of them, they just look like they go a certain direction. I don't want them to get in the way of my priority section and all that kind of a thing, though. So if I think about where those are going to end up. Also, another thing I probably should have done before I started sticking these in was go and stick in this. Gosh, you know, we're building the plane as we fly it here, because that goes underneath a lot of stuff. Like I only stuck one of them on here, so maybe I only need one. And I also didn't stick it where the little collage piece was. So, all right, we're gonna go and rip out some of these. Which again, this is another one that, okay, the brown paper bag I'm very less precious with, because it's a brown paper bag. Like I can go and source that again. This paper, I have heaps of it, so I don't need to be as precious, but it's the edges in particular where you get that really nice kind of like aged effect. I'm like, ooh, they're so pretty kind of a thing. And then my slight hoarding of paper tendencies start to come in. I'm like, no, Jessica, don't do it. There's so much to live for. I also don't want that white edge. I just want it to be the text. So we're going to rip that part off. This is a very nice rippable paper because it's as old as it is. It's very easy to tear. So we will just tear along here. Rip, 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 rip. And rather than putting the little pieces on my desk to get all messed up, we are going to put those into the scrap bucket. That's why we have the scrap bucket. We don't need huge pieces. We just want like some little paper scraps and whatnot that we can stick into corners. And we're going to want at least one per page, so we'll rip off a couple. Rip, 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 rip. I kind of want to save this piece because it's so cute. I'm just going to rip the edge of it very gently, trying to preserve as much of that kind of discolored paper look as possible. And I know that there are ways to do this with like regular paper, like you can tea stain paper, you can apply like the distress inks and stuff to give it that aged look, but just getting an old book is so much easier. It's so much easier because it just did it by itself. Time did the work for you. Yay. So we've got some. I need some more. So we'll have, you know, one here, which I'm going to do that one. And then we're going to have one here, which I'm going to do that one. And one here, that one here, that one. And we don't need to just do one per page. Like I could do more if I wanted to, but we only need one more. There we go. typically speaking, when I put down collage elements, I usually use the rule of 3. So I'll do 3 of any element, but because I'm trying to keep the decoration fairly minimal on these layouts, I'm just doing a little bit less. So I think that it would be nice to have maybe the paper go kind of over or under, that kind of thing. I mean, ideally, this part would be pulled up and then I could stick that there and it could lay over the top of it. I just don't know if I can pull it up. We can try. Yeah, it kind of pulls up. It rips the paper with it though. But that's alright. We'll just put like there-ish. I can trim away some of that excess. That looks pretty good. All right. For the sticking down of this one, I'm not going to use the glue stick because me and the glue stick are finished. We're done with each other. So we're just going to use the double-sided tape roller here. I don't mind if this one has a little bit that kind of sticks up and adds a little bit of texture, but with the ones that sit on the edge of the page, if they start to stick up, that annoys me. It makes me feel like I have multiple pages or whatnot that are stuck together, even though that's not necessarily the case. This one I think also will probably need some extra tape, and I think I might cut away some of the part that pulled up the paper bag just so that then I don't have this darker brown piece over the top. You know, all of this could be solved by doing things in a more appropriate order. Did I do that? No, but that's fine. You know, I'm still learning. Collage is not a creativity style that I am super familiar with. I'm still definitely practicing, but I think that that looks pretty cute. This one I might add a little bit of tape underneath it just to adhere it a little better. There we go. And same idea on this corner because I haven't gone as far to the edge as I'd like. Oh, so cute. Yay. What's this for? I don't even remember having this on this page. I'll put you to the side for now. But that's looking pretty cute. I think that we're going to have some of those dots in the corner. So by the dots, I mean like these guys here. Because I've used those on the pages pretty repeatedly. So we'll have some of that up there. What else did we use? Okay, so I used the paper here with this collage piece instead. It's fine. We could add some additional paper. I probably won't. But we also have this roll of just elements and such, and this is where I find the hard part of collaging is, right? I have a lot of kind of back and forth, like, oh, should I use this? Should I use that? Yada yada kind of a thing. Like I used the little dots on the last one. I quite liked that. I also had a paper clip, so we could put a like little paper clip down somewhere, peel that off, leave this to the side unwrapped, because then I don't have to rewrap it back up again. Tee-hee. The paper clip. Usually I like to use the paper clip like with something else, so I like put it like on the corner of this. And I know we just said we were going to go decorate the other side, but now I want to put this paper clip here. I'm also not very good at the whole like less is more type thing. I'm like, no, more is more. Did I accidentally grab that piece of paper from the next page? Oh well, at least we know where it belongs and we can put it there. So for the sticking down of these tiny dots, because these dots, they come on a washi roll, but they are individual dot stickers. I have been putting them down so it's like a little kind of triage. So I've been using this one, and that one. I tried sticking those down, but the color was a little bit too pink tone for the rest of the layout. So I haven't really been using that so much, but put that one down. And this one, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go and try and find a little plant sticker to stick over this side. I think that would be kind of nice because if you can't tell, the general kind of theme that we're going for here is botanical scrapbook. That's kind of what I've been thinking of it as. We can also stick in some like ticket pieces, papers or whatnot. All of this ephemera such, like outside of the old book and the brown paper bag, which is from the supermarket, and the Artranola tape, pretty much all of the rest of it is from Journal Say. And then we also have this tape piece, which is from the washi tape shop. So I do have some offcuts of this tape already. So we'll go through the offcuts and see if we can find one that works. I have been trying not to use any of the wreaths because they are just a little bit too much for what I'm looking for here. They don't really give me botanical scrapbook. They give me like, I don't know, wedding florals or something. So I haven't been using those bigger pieces or anything like that, because that would be like a theme in itself, I feel, which is definitely something I've used before. But more so I've been using the individual plant pieces. Not this one, because it looks a little bit more, I'm going to say fake. It's not really what I mean, but you do it all the time. You don't notice until your spread is complete. Yeah, I will probably just flip this one. Slip it back into here. If I can. Okay, this is me picking up multiple pages again. Thank you. Slip it in there so that then it's safe. Okay. But I thought like this botanical piece, that would be kind of cute up there. And I can put a little bit of washi tape on it to make it look like it's been stuck in. We have another little leafy piece. That's a leafy piece. Anything that's strictly flower, I don't really want to use it. Anything that's like little, we can keep those ones out. That one's small. You are small. That one's not the right kind of thing. Little leafy bit. And a lot of these will definitely need some trimming because they are just like tiny offcuts that have been not treated very well. But at least they exist, and at least I don't have to go and find them off the roll individually. This one, yeah, we can keep that one in there too. That's its friend. Oh gosh. You know what would be a smart idea, Jess, is actually put these pieces back into their bag so they're not in your way. What a novel concept. And then I can just keep the pieces that I think would be more appropriate out, and the rest of these can go into their little bag. Especially like if I can keep them laid out in a way that means that I can see them all, it'll make it a lot easier to use them. Have you tried a ceramic craft knife that cuts like that? I had a ceramic craft knife. I think I pushed the edge of it too hard and it pushed into the like barrel that was holding it. So I tend to just use my regular craft knife because it's I don't know, it's technically not sharper, but I think it's just it holds up better to the way that I flick my wrist or something, or the way that I apply the pressure. But I don't typically cut them off the roll individually. I would be more inclined to just scissor cut them out because my dexterity with scissors is better than my dexterity with a fine blade. But so these kind of like little ones and such, we can kind of lay them over the top of things and they look pretty cute and whatnot. I'm not going to add anything to this corner because I don't think it really needs anything at this stage. Yeah, your cat between your keyboard and mouse. That's a polite way to get your attention for sure. So I think that this larger green one looks pretty cute. So we'll push all of these to the side. We've got a larger green one, or we could do this larger brown one, but I think that then that's too much brown because the green here of this tape is it's fairly subtle. So we're going to put this one on and we're going to trim away any of the extra transparent part. I mean, like, you don't really see it unless it catches the light, but it just makes me feel like it's more finished. It's more put together, even if it's not super necessary. We'll take all of those little pieces. These little pieces typically go in a plastic bag that sits behind my desk because it is my soft plastic waste. I gave Vogel the bag to take to the soft plastic recycling spot, and the bag has not made its way back to my office. Thief! He stole it from me. Okay, it's in my house somewhere. I just don't know where it is. But I'm thinking, we're gonna put that about here. That feels right. Cute as. And I also want to add a little bit of tape over it as if it was kind of stuck into the journal, even though it hasn't been stuck into the journal. For that one, I've just been using this tape, which is from the washi tape shop. This one, I don't think they sell anymore, which is rude because it's great. I really like it, but just want to rip off a little piece of it, which is tricky, but we persevere. I don't know if I told you guys. So I have a weekly newsletter, and each week I send out some kind of like little tip. It's something actionable, right? Like an actionable tip for how to be more productive or organized or like something like that. And in a recent edition episode, I don't know, edition sounds righter for a newsletter, right? In a recent edition issue, we were talking about the idea of like being in a slump and all of this kind of thing, and how life has been kind of kicking me a little bit. Yeah, not as bad as other people, all right? Like, count my blessings and all of this kind of thing. But there have definitely been some trying things. I'm like, okay, cool. And I finished off the sentence or the paragraph I was writing with the statement like, we persevere. Like, we're getting through it. We're still moving forward. But I can't spell. So when I put it through a grammar checker to help me out, it was like you don't mean this word. I was like, what do you mean? Yes, I do. And I'd written perceiver instead of persevere. So I'm like, we perceiver. I'm like, nope, that's not right. And I'm just like, every time I say persevere now, all I can think of is my inability to spell. And I kind of love it. But anyway. So we've got that one stuck in. I think that's actually enough decoration for this. I kind of want something dark up here. I know the leaf is dark, but I think I want something like black. Just a little bit. So we'll put these guys to the side. So I'm going to bring back that black tape, or like the little black pieces from this one. We might just stick a little summon on there. These ones are supposed to be like the top of notepads and whatnot. I don't need it to be quite like that, but I'd also like it to not be exactly the same as the last one. So maybe I'll do this one. There we go. Put that one down in a way that makes it look good or good enough. I'll put that so it kind of overlaps. I'm trying to look through the tape and line it up with the dock grid again, wherever possible. Roughly straight. Yeah, straight enough. That looks pretty good. There we go. So that is week 1, part 2. Looking pretty cute. So this is where my daily logs will continue to flow over. So we've got... This is the kind of initial setup with the meals and the priorities and then like a little migrated list. Then my daily logging will start, and then my daily logging will continue over onto this layout, and it'll take up as much space as it wants. As soon as it's finished, like, if the end of Sunday is here, then Monday just starts there. That's fine. But this is where week 2 is going to be. So for week 2, we have our... I'm wondering if I just want to use kind of the same structure as I had over here because it worked. So maybe I just put this guy there-ish. Kind of like how that kind of cuts out. And then put the green tape over the top of it. It's the kind of thing that just like by the nature of the size of the pieces that I'm using, it will be slightly different, and I can just kind of like roll with it from there. So we might go with that. It's that idea of like, work smarter, not harder. Like I could spend a whole bunch of time trying to find a new and creative and interesting way to put the papers down on the page, but given the fact that the papers just themselves are different to each other, it'll probably be fine. So I'll add a little bit more tape here, and we will stick that roughly here. I try to make it so that the direction of the text is roughly straight compared to the dot grid. This is a little skew with, but it does mean that it doesn't like look wrong in my eyes. I like my perfect angles. Good point. Tink. Gotta make sure that we have a cheeky belly. Oh, what? Okay, so thinking about those craft knives again, I also tried the gyro cutter, which is supposed to be one where you can cut like shapes out and whatever, and not have to take it off the thing you're cutting. And I think I would like to get one from a better brand because I just got like a cheap one to kind of test it in theory or whatnot, and the cheap one is not the greatest, to be honest. So week 2 is going to go up here. We're going to have to cut that label though, because I like to have them in separate pieces because that space is quite large. If you go and see the one that I've done here, I've cut it into 2 separate bits. We're going to have a little bit of green tape at the top there, which sat underneath the first line. So we can put that one in. Where is she? there she is. She was blending. She was sitting on something green. So I was like, I know I have more of this tape. Where did I put it? That looks pretty good about there. And we'll put that to about here-ish. Ugh. And another part that I like about this kind of theme is that everything is just hand torn outside of cutting around the edges of things and, being a little more precise with this. All of the decorative pieces, for the most part, are hand torn, so you can get things into the journal fairly quickly, she says, having been here for an hour and a half. But still, there's been a lot of thought process. A lot of thought process as part of this. So that is going to go roughly here. The meal log has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines before it's stuck in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that will be here. I kind of use the grid that is on it to help me line things up. And I'm just going to count that again because I just don't trust myself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That top line is on line 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The top line is on 5. Okay. Are we sure about that? This is pretty common for me. Yeah, okay. It works. It is what it is. Me, like, doing these types of layouts, and this is probably why I kind of avoid them a bit, even though I enjoy them, is because things are placed in a way that feels less formulaic, and my mind works a little bit better with very particular grids and formulas and such. It is it's not necessarily my comfort zone. It takes me a little bit more time and a lot more second guessing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that top line will sit on number 5. There we go. The reason why I was like, are you sure, is that that's quite close to the green tape. And I don't know if I necessarily love that. I don't know if I can pull this tape up and stick it a little higher. I can at least pull it off of that one, okay. It's just whether I can pull it off the brown paper bag and have it work still. I mean, I also just don't have to use it again. I can go and find another piece of tape, but if I can use it again, I'd like to be able to do that. Well, that's going there now because I stuck it down hastily. Rude to myself. That works. We're okay with it. It'll be fine. We only get to see it for 1 week. Oh, hi, Monica. Pleasure for you to drop in with us. Yeah, your setup for ongoing journaling for the week is what I'm trying. Haven't had success with daily spaces allocated as they've been too big or too small. Yeah, I find that pre-allocating the size of spaces that I need for each of them doesn't necessarily work because although, like, typically speaking, I use the most space on a Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday is usually a little lighter. Thursday is barely anything, like that kind of thing. I know this about my own practice. Last week, Thursday was actually a really good day. Thursday was like, yeah, we can actually get stuff done, and we're gonna go get things done and whatever. But if I had have pre-structured out my week, I wouldn't have allowed space for that, and then I wouldn't have enough space for writing in all of the things I need to do. I also find that if I pre-structure a week, I just want all of the days to have the same amount of space in general. And that's not actually how reality works for me a lot of the time. In reality, I don't need the same amount of space for every single day of the week because I don't use the time on my weekdays the same. Like, either I'm doing larger tasks on some of them, so I don't have to have as much written on the list because it's like, okay, well, this task is like a 3-hour task. So is it a task? Is it a project? Doesn't matter. But because of that, it means that I just don't need to take up as much space writing in that day compared to other days. Whereas other days, it's like, cool, we're taking the, approach of doing a whole bunch of small things, and to add all of those to my checklist, I'm gonna need a lot of space. I can't accurately predict that, and that's why I like daily logs, because they just take up as much space as they need, and then I write the header for the next day, and then I go and put all of the things in for that day. It works good for Jess. So This one here, I'm just sticking in a little bit of tape to make it look like this piece of paper was taped in, even though we did just adhere double-sided tape to the back of it and put it in. Like, that's all good. I like that it gives the kind of like vibe of a scrapbook type thing. So probably get out the journal and set up May. I mean, like, I'm not gonna make you, but May is coming. May is coming and it's gonna be here. It's gonna be May. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. My meal log is pretty simple. It's just initials for each of the days of the week, and then I do B, L, D for breakfast, lunch, dinner. I don't really record my snacks because I don't typically plan snacks because I can't be relied on to snack. I either do or I don't. Funnily enough, those are usually the two options. But I don't reliably snack every day or need snacks every day. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. I do need to find some good snack options because with, exercising, trying to take better care of myself, yada yada type thing, trying to eat better is part of that. And by better, I mean like more nutritional food, nutritious. I don't have good options for snacks. My snackage is usually like, oh, hey, here's a bag of chips. And I am very much the kind of person who, if I open the bag of chips, I will probably finish the bag of chips, which when you buy a family bag of chips is not the recommended serving amount for that many chips. Anyways, tink. So need to investigate finding some snackage that is still like nourishing. I don't like that word. It's still nourishing. It's still nutritious, but it's not. It's not like have a lettuce. I don't want that. Good old water. The body's like, oh my gosh, hydration, crazy. Do you like protein bars? Those nothing naughty bars are pretty tasty. I have not tried a protein bar before. My question would be are they like crunchy? Because I don't, when it comes to like bars of things, like, the mixed nuts or whatever and such, I don't usually enjoy crunchy ones. I don't mind chewy ones. Yeah. Texture is also a big thing, isn't it? So, looking back, we had a little thing and then the dots, and I think I'll put the dots in because the dots are so cute. We love them. Eating baby carrots sometimes with hummus. Yeah, I think that's also the nice part about baby carrots, which I'm pretty sure are just lies. I'm pretty sure they're not baby carrots. They're adult carrots that got cut into baby size, but whatever. At least some of them are. Is that they like ready to go, right? You don't have to do a whole bunch of prep kind of thing, because like, for instance, I love cut up fruit. I hate cutting up fruit. like if the fruit is already cut up, I'm like, heck yeah, I love it so much, I'm just gonna eat that one and be very happy kind of a thing. But I also have, with trying to be better and eating more nutritional things and all of this, fruit is becoming like my main breakfast thing. So in my mind, I'm like, why are you eating breakfast as your snack? For me personally, like if other people want to eat fruit as a snack, go forth. More power to you, yay plants. But I find that I don't want to snack on fruit because it's like this weird concern, I guess, maybe, because at the end of the day, if you're gonna pick between fruit and like candy, the body would probably prefer the fruit for the most part. There are probably other circumstances, but like for the most part, the body would probably prefer the fruit. So should I be withholding fruit from myself just because I'm like, oh, I don't know, like sugar or whatever? But I'm also like, yeah, and fiber. The body likes fiber. So I'm sure that I will find a happy medium. I just need to figure out what it is. But yeah, maybe the protein bar thing is something to try out. I've also been thinking about how to get more protein into my diet because I don't think I do super well with the amount of protein that the body probably wants. The body is probably like, ma'am, I'm feeling protein deprived. Please assist. Yeah, fruit is great and you're a big fan. Yeah, that's the thing. I do enjoy fruit. I like fruit a lot. I especially cut up fruit, like cut up apple. I'm like, oh, luxury. I love it. Trying to eat an apple as an apple. I'm like, oh, no, get that away from me. I do very much more prefer it when it is cut up. So it feels more tackleable. Yeah, that that made sense in my head. But trying to eat diversely, I suppose. Because what today for breakfast we had stewed fruits, so good. Or like in particular stewed stone fruits, delicious. I very much enjoy it, but I also like having to prepare that. Preparing stone fruits is a gosh dang mission, I swear. Like I have a line between those. That's good to know. So this started at Wednesday. Not that it needs to start at Wednesday again. It's more just like a, hey, if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of thing. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Yes, I said that correct. I was like, wait a second. You just finished your printables for good, but now you'll start with May. Yay! Yeah, Quest bars are chewy protein bars with lots of fiber. Oh yeah, do we have Quest bars here? I do not know. I am unsure, but maybe that's something to investigate. I also have been enjoying with my quest for the nutritions has been getting into the kitchen and actually cooking stuff. Not to say that I wanted to cook every single thing I ate, because that sounds tiring, but I have been very, very pleased with myself about getting in and preparing my breakfasts and my lunches on a Sunday. That's kind of been what my main quest for this year was to implement that type of meal prep, because I don't mind eating the same breakfast and the same lunch for an entire week. It doesn't really bother me so much, unless it sucks. There have been a couple that I've made, because when you go and look up like a healthy make ahead meal ideas or whatnot, and everybody is recommending you frittata, I'm like, okay, fine, I will make frittata. I will endeavor to make a frittata that is like, served out and has veggies in it and all of this and yada yada. And both of the times I tried to make it, bleh. I do not like eggs done like that at all. It made me feel like ill, physically ill. So I didn't end up finishing those. I gave them to Vogel and he was able to eat them. And he enjoyed them at least enough to finish them, which is good because then they didn't get wasted. But I did not enjoy those ones. But other meals that I've been making, like my stewed fruits, for instance. Oh, I love stewed fruits. Stewed fruits, so good. And that one I just made like I think we got like 3 kilos of stone fruits. So like, peaches, nectarines, plums. I think by that point they didn't have apricots anymore. I was like, no, apricots. But got those, cut them up, cut my finger on the stone on the inside because they're aggressive and sharp. It's fine. No pain, no gain, baby. Something like that. Got those ones done, and I've just been having little, like, essentially individual fruit packs in the freezer. Just get one of those out the day before, let it slow defrost in the fridge, and then just have it in the morning. And the thing is that, like, the recipe that I've used for that is technically a dessert. Technically it is a stone fruit crumble kind of thing, like, with the sugar top with the crumb or whatever, and the oats and anything. I just make the fruit part of it. I probably could make like a healthier, less sugar filled version of the crumble top, but I don't even need the crumble top. I just really enjoy the fruit filling. So I've been making those. I've been quite pleased with it. Now, before we go and put the lines around the outside, we do need to stick in this little piece of tape so that then it looks like it was taped in, even though it's all a facade. Ha ha ha. Stewed stone fruit sounds amazing, but I've also never heard of it. Yeah, the actual thing is called like a stone fruit cobbler or something like that, or a stone fruit crumble, which, has the crumble top with the sugar and the oats and the flour and the butter and all that kind of thing. You know, all the good stuff. But I just make the fruit filling and have that for breakfast. Because when I was growing up, this is the recipe my dad used to make. And when I was growing up, he would make just the fruit and we'd have it with ice cream as a dessert type thing. But it is actually sweet enough to have without. Okay, that was why I didn't end up putting that there, because it was too tight. So I put it along the side here, which I think is fine. I might just end up doing the same thing. We'll put it in the same place because it works. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like we said before. Cute. Love. So it's kind of probably part nostalgia type thing. It's like you'd have the fruit and the ice cream and you sit on the couch as a family and eat that and whatever else, and it would just feel very comforting. And so now I get to start my morning with that kind of comfort. It feels kind of special, so I quite like that. But also, it's so delicious. And it's dead simple. Like, outside of having to de-stone the fruits, which is not dead simple, everything else, dead simple. Because it's like, yeah, cut up fruit, put in oven, take out of oven. That's it. I think there is technically a little bit more involved there. But what we are doing now is doing an outline of this, but we are doing it by hand because, yay, organic scrapbooky look. And we're also just breaking the line every so often, so it looks a little softer. This is something I did a lot of in the giveaway journal that we made at the end of last year. And I liked how it looked in there, so I've been trying it in here as well. And I do appreciate that it makes it just, like I said, a little softer to look at. If you kind of look here, it doesn't look kind of as aggressive or as harsh, even though there are only like these really small gaps in the line, which is kind of nice. So, associated with a cobbler. Oh yeah, like a peach, yeah. So it's effectively like a peach and nectarine and apricot and plum cobbler. Yum. We shouldn't talk like this, though, because now I'm hungry. And I have more weeklies that I need to set up. I don't have time for these feelings. It's okay. There's always time for our feelings. Unless it's not. Dun, 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 dun. Counting down to our farmer's market, having fruit besides apples again. See, apples are like my fave of the fruits. I love a stewed apple. I love like a Granny Smith apple. I love what I call fruit nachos, which is literally just slices of apple dipped into caramel sauce. Is caramel sauce the best for me? No, but it's okay. It's just a little bit. And that's the thing, right? With all of this kind of, healthier eating and all of that, it needs to be something that's sustainable, because if you can't sustain it, then it's not really going to have like long-term benefits, right? Like me having one apple today is not like, the body will be happy. The body will be like, yes, the fiber, the nutrients, we love it. But the body in 3 weeks isn't going to remember the apple, like the individual apple. So we need it to be something that can be done over and over and over. So the body's like, yes, the constant supply of the nutrients. Thank you very much. That's what I needed. That's what I was screaming out for all along. I'm like, sorry, body. Sorry. So in the last one, I did stick a little sticker in here because there was a larger gap. I think I will still stick a little something in there. I'll just probably make it a different color. So I think I'll do maybe this like slightly darker one. I like the visual contrast of it. I need to find my skizzers. Yeah. You've just had 5 months of apples. Yeah, okay, that's fair. If it's the only fruit you can get, boo hiss. At the moment, we are in berry season, but berry season is coming to an end. So I have been trying my darndest to make sure that I've been living with my berries, getting the most of the berry goodness while I could, because once they're gone, it's like, cool, now you can have frozen, which is fine if you want to make like a berry compote or something like that, a little berry coulis. But I typically do like to have my fresh fruit when I can, because it's nice. Yeah, fruit nachos is such a fun way to refer to that. Yeah, I mean, because you can probably add other things, like if you think about the apple like wedges or whatnot as the corn chip, then you could also add in some like blueberries or something, and you could add in like some. I'm trying to think of other things that go in nachos and how it would work, because in my mind I'm like, okay, the berries are the mints because they're like small, and then the apples would be the corn chips or whatever, and then the caramel is like the nacho cheese sauce, right? Yeah, you could put nuts on it or something like that, like just sprinkle them on top or whatever. I'm literally thinking you get like your bowl or your plate, and you cut up your apples and you'd like kind of arrange them, and then you sprinkle your berries on top, and then you drizzle your sauce, like the caramel sauce, and then you just like sit there and eat it with a fork. And oh my god, why are we talking about this? I'm so hungry now. I'm actually not hungry. I'm thirsty. That's what it is. I'm thirsty. Tink. I could also be hungry, but it's not time for food yet. I'm not actually that hungry. I'm just like, I'm brain hungry, not stomach hungry. Little chocolatey bits would be cute too. Because yeah, I'm thinking about like pomegranate seeds. I don't eat pomegranate all that much. Like I haven't really eaten it before, but I feel like you could chuck that on top and it would be like same vibes, right? Yeah, little peanut butter or Biscoff or something. Something that we sometimes eat in my family, which is really tasty, is either like pawpaw, papaya, or whatever. So you get the pawpaw or the papaya. I think they're technically the same thing, aren't they? Question mark? Whatever. Cut that up into little chunks and pieces. You'd put some yogurt on top. We'd typically do vanilla yogurt just because it's nicer. I don't like Greek yogurt. I don't care if it's good for me. I don't like it. But Greek yogurt or vanilla yogurt or whatever, and then just like crunch up one or two of those kind of Biscoff biscuits and sprinkle that on top, and then maybe sprinkle over a little bit of mint. So delicious. Like so good. I love cut up fruit. I love cut up fruit so much. But that was a really good dessert that we would do quite often. Yeah. Anywho, so this is looking cute. Here we're gonna put the migrated sign. Oh no, wait, we don't have a migrated sign. Because I didn't put a migrated on every single week. If you're wondering, I have like a little fleet of the stickers for the week just like tucked off to the side here, and they're all arranged so that I have them all in the right place, but I don't have my meal header in. That's kind of important. It's kind of important. It's kind of a big deal. You know what you're doing for June? No. Did you only figure out what May was last night? Yes. I mean, am I supposed to know what's happening in June? Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't want to spoil anything, and I don't want to like give anybody false hope, but I'm pretty sure we were going to do another community theme challenge in June, if that helps. Don't quote me if I'm wrong. I have no idea what's going on in my community. No, okay, that's a lie, but I do think that we were possibly going to try and do another one in June. We're going to put that here. Maybe. I don't like it. I want it to be lower, but then I put the sticker in like a fool. Like a fool. Because I forgot that I hadn't put my other header in. You could just like not rip the sticker. That'd be great. Thank you. There we go. Stay there. So then this meals header can come down just like a little bit. Just a little bit. And be there. And that looks cuter. And then you can go sit. Oh god. Like you really need to sit in line with your text. That looks fine. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, you can make it with vanilla yogurt instead of caramel, and raw honey and berries and chia seeds and flax seeds. That sounds really great too. The only reason that I have it with caramel sauce is because I have caramel sauce. Like you don't have to have it with caramel. But like for instance, I would very happily sit there and just eat a bowl of cut up apple, like Granny Smith apple, because that's my preference. But if you want to like add some oomph, what's this like idea of like romanticizing your life? Like I'm very into the idea of it, even though I don't think of myself as a very kind of like that girl or whatever. I don't think of myself as that kind of person. I'm interested in the concept of romanticizing life like that. But so having a look at this one, we have the green tape, we have the panel of decoration, and then we've got the dots. And I'm thinking we're going to do a similar thing over here. So we will need a panel. Pick your poison. We've got quite a few panels. So that one's kind of cute. I'm trying to find ones that don't come too far out from the edge, because I want to be able to use this as my checklist kind of space. But that one's not too bad. It's a potential. This one's kind of nice. I like the little greenery on it. That one would sit Probably a little further out than I want it to, though. That one's going to sit out too far. I think that's also the one that I just used, so we can put that to the side. This one is being used on the next page, so I don't want that. These all have duplicates, so you can see like these two here, they are the same design. Both got the little bow. Yeah. A lot awkward when I go to set up May and I haven't printed my stickers. Guess what I'm going to do now then? Probably for the best. We do need the stickers. That makes the process just a little bit easier. So that's kind of cute with the plant, and I like the depth of color on that one, so I think we're going to use that one here. That's the thing that I'm kind of looking for when I'm doing these collages, because they have a lot of the same colors, right? Like a lot of browns and the greens and such. We're really looking for some that have that kind of like more punchy tone, that kind of darker element. I would kind of possibly prefer the darker element to be over this craft paper now as I say that, so it might be better on something like, flips over 27 times, this one where you can actually see it better. So I think we might keep that one here. So we'll go back to the drawing board, find another piece, which is all good. We can do it. Maybe something like this. I like the little lace and ladder work, and I think that that's got a little bit of contrast, and I'll just hang it over the edge and trim off the excess, and that's fine because I don't want to steal too much of the page. That looks pretty good. All right. Cute, because we've already got the other piece. Those stickers are so cute. Yeah, they're from Journal Say. I'm pretty sure they're from Journal Say. Good luck finding them on their website, though. Oh my gosh. But it's always a fun day getting to go and browse through the Journal Say website and find some gems, especially because sometimes to find pieces, you can't, I'm not going to say you can't trust the listing image, because that's not quite what I mean, but oftentimes if you look at the listing image, they have like a very interesting collection of items that are under the same listing, and you kind of need to go in and look through the items individually to see if they're for you. But cut. And this little excess piece that we're cutting off like could be used somewhere else. I don't know if I'm going to, but we can stick it back onto the paper from whence it came. By that I mean the plastic, because PET. But I would try not to fill up my small kitchen with single-purpose gadgets so that you have a nice apple slicer thing. Oh, but you do have a nice apple slicer thing. I used to have one of those kind of like push through a grate cutting tools or whatnot. But I found that because it was a cheap plastic one, like it wasn't the best of those tools, it meant that I was always really worried to actually push down on it. So I ended up getting rid of it, because it's like, well, if you can't even use it, like if you can't bring yourself to use it, then you probably don't need to keep it. But those can be quite useful for just making our preparation of the nutritious foods easier, and thus more likely to actually have the nutritious foods. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. Just don't want to encroach on the space that I'm going to use for my checklists. It's pretty cute. Put that one in here, and then we can stick something dark over the top of it like we've done in the other ones. So bringing back this guy, and I'm gonna do this one, because I like to have that darker piece of contrast to go with the headers, which, I mean, this will end up with more headers on it, so it'll have like, the days of the week and all of those kind of things, but I just for the sake of making sure I have some down in the decorative space, put this one down here. Looks pretty cute. I don't think it needs to go that far over, but it looks pretty cute. What time is it? It is currently 11:04 a.m. where I'm based on a Monday morning. Good morning, everybody. Unless it's not morning. And in the case, it's like, what is it? Happy time zone. Happy time zone, everybody. So this is looking pretty good. We've got our week 2 space set up, but week 2 is going to be one of those busy weeks, and I'm going to need to think about stuff to do before I go. So I'm going to put in a header here for before I go, because it it'll probably take up more space than just this, but at least it will have a space. And we're going to need to trim out the individual words because I prefer it when they are the individual words. There we go. Now, put that one here before I go. I'm going to start building this from the other end, I think, because then I can make sure I have the right amount of space for it. And I also want to check to see where I stuck it in for the last one. Not that I said before I go, it said like migrated, but yeah. Okay, so it was in the line directly underneath that. Good to know, because I like to keep that kind of consistency. It just helps me enjoy my layouts more, and if I enjoy them more, I'm more likely to use them. If I use them, then I'm more likely to get things done. And if I get things done, then I feel better about myself. All right, that's just the way that my mind works. That is the train of productivity in my journal. Now, can I get this sticker off the backing? That's the real question. Struggle. Thank you. Better. And this is why we keep our nails. We don't just cut them all off like we used to. It was only like typically speaking, because I'm not great with my nails in general. But typically speaking, I am the kind of person who, when I trim my nails, I will just trim them down to nothingness, and then I let them grow out until they annoy me, and then I trim them down to nothingness, rinse and repeat. I have been attempting recently to actually cut them to a shape as opposed to just cut them to oblivion. And so far, I think I'm doing a pretty good job. It's been a second since I cut them, but I actually have nails, so like, yay me. Now, in writing things in here, so this time around, I've been using like, second line highlights and such. I've been finding that that's been taking up more of my time than has been bringing joy. So at the moment, I'm just leaving things open, which means that writing things in here is going to be a little easier. We need to decorate this one. But before we do that, we are going to have a quick break. The break isn't going to be very long, but it is a time to stretch your legs, get up, go refill your drink, all of those kind of things, and then we will come back and do some more work. All right, don't go anywhere unless you need to go and do something. It's only going to be for like a 2-minute break. All right, 2 minutes, go do your stuff. We're going to come back. We're going to continue this because I still need to decorate the rest of these because I want everything done before the month gets here. All right, 2 minutes starts like now. All right. Hopefully your break was good. Hopefully you got yourself a refill or took a stretch or anything like that. Now, we have done week 2's initial setup. We've done the decoration space for week 1. So I'm thinking for the decoration space for week 2, given we've already got this like panel in, which is a very good start. A very good start. We still need to do some down here and add like a little bit of visual interest here. I still want to have maybe some of that green paper. I'm not too sure. Even though I just had a break, I haven't even had a drink. So Tink, make sure that you shoved your face with caramel. Wait, do you mean like shoved your face with caramel or like shaved your face with caramel? Like, I don't know which one that is, but either way, it's kind of funny. Have I selected a date? Yes, we are getting miraged at the end of August. I took a mouthful of water and Vogel comes in like, woo woo. But now as I'm lightly choking on my own water, what? I've got a very... Let's see if I can sneak this out here. I can't remember what else is stuck into the front of this journal, so we're gonna... Please come to wedding. that is my wedding invite. I'm gonna put that to the side because I don't think I can stick it back in right now. But yes, we're getting married at the end of April, which should be good. I'm looking forward to it. There's still so much to organize. Now I know I said that I wanted this part, and I like still kind of do, but I don't know. I don't know if I can make it work because I feel like it's gonna look a little bit strange. Maybe I was thinking, okay, like I put this one down here, and then I could do the... Where's the green tape? Keep losing that one. The green tape could kind of sit over the top of it, but then it's like, what was the point of putting it in to then cover it up with the green tape? It just looks like a very large expanse. August? Did I say April? It's August. I'm getting confused. It's currently April. My wedding's in August. Whoops. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so I know that I wanted to keep this, but I do have the entire rest of the thesaurus, so it's okay. It's not a small thesaurus. It is definitely a big thesaurus. So we can put that one here. And I'm going to put it over the top of the green tape. There we go. Put that one there. That looks pretty cute. Yeah, Vogel has already run away, but yeah. Wedding! Oh my god! Okay, like, I know we just took a break, but, like, can I show you guys a thing? Because it's exciting, and I want to show it to somebody. I pretty much want to show it to everybody, so tee-hee. So we picked out the dresses that my bridesmaids are going to wear, which I'm very excited for. They're going to look so beautiful. So I'm just going to grab a little slideshow kind of thing. It's not a slideshow. I'm like, calm down. I'm not that hardcore. I'm a little hardcore. I'm not that hardcore. But let me know if you can see it. But yeah, this is our nice model lady. Like, they're going to look exactly like this, except they're not going to be in green. They're going to be in like burgundy red, but the video doesn't show with the burgundy red kind of thing. So this is them. Their little sleeves looking so cute. They're like crissy crossy, and then like the nice flow through. Beautiful. So gorgeous. They're going to look so pretty. I'm very excited for them. So like we literally went through this website and yeah, swish swish, went through the website, looked at like a bunch of dresses. We added like, I don't know, 10 to 15 or something to the short list, and then went through every single one of them to be like, okay, we got to check the back. Is it high backed kind of a thing? Like, got to check the sleeve. Does the sleeve look nice? All of these kind of things. So when did all of that as part of the kind of like process. And it's the kind of thing that like it's neutral enough that yes, in theory they could wear it again if they wanted to. They don't have to. I'm not gonna make them, but you know, if they wanted to. I'm gonna rip a little bit off of this so that I can fit this into this corner here like that. Cute. I'm always very aware of the kind of writing that is on these things, because in a setup that I made for last year, my baby, my child. There we go, that's better. For a setup that I used last year, I was using a cooking book, an old cooking book for the paper that I was layering or whatnot. And it had things like, trim the beef fat. And I was just like, oh well. Thankfully, it mainly blends into the background, but it was still kind of funny. Yeah. Oh, that's going to look so good on you. Exactly. It is. Aren't they going to be so pretty? I'm very excited. For them. Like, I am also excited for me, but like, dates. I mean, I could show you. I've shown you my wedding dress, haven't I? I think I have. But and Vogel's not around, and he's not going to watch this video. But I feel like I've already shown it to you, so I don't think we'll need to like see it again. But that's looking cute. Got this one. But yeah, we are ordering our dresses from the same places. Like my wedding dress has already arrived. You guys would have seen the body bag in the vlog if you watched it. Put that one there, and another little dot sticker. Give me the dot. Thank you. And then another one. Yeah. Have a nice time in bed. Sleep well. All of the good things. There we go. So put that one there. That looks good. And put that one to the side. Looking good. Don't know if Jess said who was in the dresses, so I kept quiet about it. Lol. Yeah, no. It's gonna be Jess. Jess is gonna be in a dress, notably. Not the same dress, but Monica, Rachel, and Emily are my bridesmaids, and they're all gonna look so pretty. So pretty. That looks pretty good. That actually, it looks kind of crooked, but like, it's fine. It's not that bad. The more I think about it, though, the worse it gets. Okay, let's see if we can pull that one up. Because at the end of the day, I do have a lot of these dot stickers, so if this rips the paper in an unfortunate way, I will just get out another one. Okay, yeah, that one's now rubbish. We will get another one. Which again, as said, I have a lot of those dots. Like they're a full roll pretty much, and I only use like 3 per page anytime I use them, so it's not so bad. Not so bad. Pretty sure the last time I used dot stickers, I used these ones as well because I have a lot of different colors of them because my ability to say no to a good dot sticker is limited. There we go. That looks better. For some people, they're like, it didn't move. For me, I'm like, it is actually perfect now. Yeah. So we've got that one. But yeah, I'll bring up my dress and I'll show it to you. Now, notably, the nice lady on the website is going to look a little different in it compared to me, but it's fine. Because we can still see like the general vibe. Oh, and it's got a video. I love a video. It just makes my life so much easier for like, being able to visualize things. So we'll chuck that one in here too. So there she is. Oh, so pretty. I liked the little sleeve. I thought the sleeve was cute. And the back is like exposed, but not like super exposed. Because I'll probably have my hair down because I don't like the back of my neck looking exposed. So that's kind of cute. So that one's arrived. It's sitting beautifully in my closet, waiting for me to actually try it on. Because like with all of the buttons, I can't try it on by myself. But I'll get there eventually. But also, we can't talk about it too loud because then Vogel will know. He's downstairs, so it's not going to be a problem. But the sleeves are cute, eh? I love the sleeves. Because that's the thing. I don't really like my arms being super exposed, but I do like the little sleeve. And I think we'll look so cute together. Yay! But we need something dark down here. I think we're going to go with a safety pin. Little safety pin sticker. Close up my dress website so that then I don't get distracted more than I already am. So yeah, my hair is going to be a half up, half down. That's my plan at least. Because I like having at least some of it like up, for something that's kind of like, fancier, nicer or whatnot. I like having some of it up, but I also, when I'm feeling fancy, I like to have my hair down. I don't usually have my hair down on an everyday day-to-day because I'm lazy and I'm going to be able to doing it. Exactly. I'm having the Hannah Montana wedding experience. Best of both worlds. That's looking cute. We need to do some more up here because, like, yes, you're doing a lot of heavy lifting, but I would like to still have a little bit of that green tape because of the consistency. Now, because this one's ducking out to the side, it means that I don't really want to do the tape out to the side, but I think doing the tape down is going to look a little strange. I'm not too sure. Maybe if I just do like a little piece. We'll just trial it with a little piece. Little piece here. Is that looking okay? Looks kind of okay. And then maybe stick something over the top of it so that then it's not so obvious. Obvious isn't really the right word. I think I might see if I can play around and find a little tag or something to stick over the top. These ones are, I think they're just papers. They're just paper pieces, so you still have to like put an adhesive on the back and stick things over the top of them. This one's flat mouth round bottom tube. Odd. We could have always stuck that in and then stuck that over the top. I kind of like the idea of that. We'll see if we can find another one that's maybe a little smaller. I just like the shaping of it. The visual interest. That one's also kind of cute, but it's horizontal. I'm trying to find something that's vertical so that having the vertical tape with it kind of matches. Because we've got this one. That's, I don't know, I do like the darkness of it. Maybe I'll do that one because it does have the dark piece. Okay. Sounds like an idea. Put that to the side. I do wish these ones were stickers. Would make my life a little easier, but that's fine. We can't have everything exactly the way we want it. In theory. Big theories. So, that's looking good. And I'm just going to trim the edges down because I prefer it to not have as wide an edge, but I do like it having a little edge. It also means that I don't need to be quite as particular, which is nice. Because I am a pretty particular person. But, so, what are you getting up to this week? What are your plans? I mean, right now, for most of us, it's like Easter, maybe some time off, possibly, which, yay, we like that. So as somebody who gets to pick their own schedule, rather than going away for the Easter weekend, Vogel and I are going to be planning a little trip for this week to go to Rotorua, which is a place that's like up the coast, like by a little bit. It's going to take us at least 6 or 7 hours to get there or something like that, but it should be good. We've been meaning to do a little trip away for quite a while. Tink. And so I know that he's very excited for it. I was talking with him yesterday about how I measure time, and like one of the ways that I measure time in terms of like, you know, upcoming for a trip is how many sleeps we have. So yesterday I was like, oh, Bogle, there's only 2 sleeps until we're going away. And he's like, what? And I was like, oh, isn't that how you measure like the amount of time until a trip? It was just a nice way to visualize how long until things were happening, because my time math is the worst math. I'm bad at time math. Next week is your last full week of semester, so you have a lot of work to do. Oof, yeah, no, my brother, because he's now a teacher, like given the fact that he's graduating and all of this, he recently had his last week of semester or whatnot, term, and I do not envy him, because that I remember being just so hectic when I was a teacher. All right, we're going to take that one off. We'll just stick another piece on. It's totally fine. And this one is going to sit, kind of like the idea of it sitting a little higher, and then maybe just having a little bit of green tape at the bottom or something, so that then it doesn't have to have like lifetime kind of a thing. We can just put the L there, which is all good. So, egg and avocado toast has been acquired. Yum! Oh my god. It's been a hot minute since I have had egg and avocado toast. I mean, it's been a hot minute since I've had toast. I do have some hot cross buns sitting in the cupboard, which I would like to eat before I go away, so I will probably have those today. But been kind of saving them, and now they're probably stale, because that's the way these things work, right? That was one of the things that I always struggled with the most as a kid, like when Mum would make baking or whatever. It got to a point where she would actually put my baking aside, so she'd like section mine and my brother's and my dad's out into separate containers, because my brother and my dad would just eat theirs so quickly, and I would like kind of hoard mine. It would just take me a really long time to eat it for some reason. But you get to the point where it's like, okay, cool, so you've held on to this so long that now it is stale. I'm like, oh, whoops. So that's kind of what my hot cross buns are probably going to be, but I figure once they're toasted and they've got some butter on them, they'll be fine. But put that away. Cute. Put a little ticket there, and we're going to put a little bit of green tape over the top of it. I'm kind of tempted to put the green tape in the same direction as this, because it's not like I can really use that space easily anyway. So let's see. Where's a pencil? Pencil! Pencil, where are you? There we go. Not pencil. So six centimeters is what I do for my columns. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which means that this space roughly can be used for decoration and not feel bad about it. Not that I typically feel bad about decoration anyways, but I'm thinking I can probably put like a little bit here. If I want to line that up properly though, that'd be kind of nice. Ma'am. I'm just going to pull it out a little further so I can get the line up easier. That looks better. There we go. And we'll pull off some of that. That looks cute. And then I can stick another little florally piece, or not floral, botanical. A botanical bit up here because I'm not going to use that for writing either. Just fills in that space a little nicer. Because once this kind of gets filled in with the stuff for my daily logs and whatnot, I don't need every single piece of space filled, but the writing is going to fill in this space, so I don't need to worry about that. But having that like kind of little white space gap there will, it won't necessarily look odd, but I think it will bother me. Be careful with the scissors, man. That hurt. I only stabbed myself a little bit. It's fine. But now I've got a pin down here. I'm thinking about what I want to put over here for my little piece of darkness. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Blink. Come to talk with you again. I don't actually know the words to that song, but building a stage set. Wow. You have so much to do and nothing to show of it. Oh. Anyway, you're working hard on, I feel like, in the high school again. It sounds like fun. Yeah, stagecraft is a big mission. So I'm going to leave the pencil mark in for now because it'll just help me. We need something dark. I'm thinking maybe one of the ones that I quite like is this little crisscrossy thing. The crisscrossy thing kind of makes things look like they're stitched in, which is kind of nice. So we'll put the crisscrossy, the crissy-crossy. If I can get it off the roll, thank you. And I'm thinking I might put that in there somewhere. Where did my tweezers go? There they are. We're good. Could go like there. That's pretty cute. Yep. Looks good. Put that there. And I'm like, is it necessary? No, but it looks cute. And I'm thinking about like the dots, and I'm like, can I just add the dots along the bottom of that? Because I like to have them on there twice. I didn't have them on there twice for the last one because this decorative piece got filled up a little. But I think that for over here, it might be nice to have them on there. It might also be nice to see them on something that's not the brown paper. Not to say that they don't look good on the brown paper, but it's just kind of, you get to see the color of them better because they are a little bit transparent. Not a lot, but just that little bit does dull the color that the paler ones have in particular. There we go. That looks about right. Cute. Curious. For those that do a lot of decorative stuff, including me, were you good at visual decorating beforehand? Did you get better with when you started journaling? I would say that I have gotten better. I don't think I started at 0, but I definitely wasn't as good at it as I am now. Like I'm still learning, kind of a thing. But having those kind of little rules that you can follow does help. Like Lisa kind of mentioned there, that idea of like rule of 3. It's great for just being able to get balance. I'm kind of big on visual balance. So the nice part about these ones is that the visual balance is done just by having like a bottom corner here, a top corner there. So they're kind of across from each other and then just alternating it throughout. So it's like over here, then over there, then over here, then over there, that's just made it a little bit easier. I also think about it in terms of like how much you're coming out from either direction and kind of trying to balance it. Like this one comes out less than it goes up, and this part is kind of like darker and thus more visually weighted, but this one has more going on, so it kind of balances out a little bit. It's a very much like a trial and error type thing, I find, is how my process works at least. This one, we do technically have another piece to the sticker, which are these little kind of like hanging strings or something. And I'm going to put those in because I think that they're cute. Trying to make sure that I put them in roughly the right place. I like that they essentially make it look like you stitched something onto the notebook without actually having to do it. Like, is it perfect? No. It does look a little bit cartoony, but I don't care because it's cute. Love. You can barely see them because of the green tape. I don't care. So that's looking good. We can take this one off because it's pretty obvious what that page is for now, as we've got the header for week 2 and all of this kind of stuff. And then we get into week 3. Now, week 3's stuff is not going to be as big. Now, as I've said that, I do need to put in that packing list. Should the packing list go on week 3? I feel like the packing list should go on week 3. I've lost my ordering of where things belong. So next week is going to go in the week 3 as well. Week 3 actually has a lot of stuff. Okay, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, we've got the week 3 header. We've got the priorities list. We've got the meals section, if we can pick it up. Great difficulty. We have the packing list. I gave myself a little remember header. And I gave myself a next week header, because normally what happens is that when I go away for a trip, I will start to think about like what I need to do when I get back a couple of days before I get to that point. This is effectively going to be like a brain dump space for me. So it's like, hey, next week, like what kind of things do I maybe have to do? Even though I already have space set up in my journal, I'm not going to be setting up the daily logs until that day arrives. So having this as like a drop space can help me out. Let's see. So week 3, and this will mainly be like the priority space, the meal space, and then maybe a little section here. Not for next week. The packing list is going to go here. I think the packing list should actually probably take up the entire of this page, but I'm going to put the packing list in this column, and then I'll have the little space at the bottom here for Monday, and then Tuesday Monday can kind of flow over, and then Tuesday can be here if I need a lot of space, any space for it, like barely any, which will literally just be like go to brother's graduation and then pack. Like that'll be the list, and then the whole next week can kind of be for other stuff, and then I'll put the next week header on that next week, and the remember can also be over there as well, because it's for any kind of like memories that I wanted to write down or anything in that kind of space of stuff. The packing list one I'm going to stick down now because that one doesn't need to have any decoration around it. That is a functional space. I can just stick those headers down for that column so then I know what's going on over there. But then the rest of these I need to decorate first because a lot of them end up over the top of the decoration. Put that in the bin. Here we go. I also find that like if you're trying to practice doing the visual elements and such, find layouts that you like the look of and mimic them. You don't have to use like the exact same stuff, but what you're trying to do is break them down into the elements and then use those in your own layouts. So for instance, if we're thinking about the style that I've done here, you know, like if you decided like, okay, actually I quite like this, I think that I'd like to try something similar in my journal. You don't have to have all of the same pieces that I'm playing around with. Like you don't have to have the same headers, you don't have to have the same color palette or anything like that, but you just kind of focus on how the layouts have been built up. All right. So if we flip back, we have for instance, let's just say you're like, this corner is good. This corner I like. We have a neutral backing piece. So for me, neutral is just like, one pattern or like one color, or it doesn't really kind of like draw the eye in. It doesn't have a lot of kind of like contrast to it or anything. It's just like one tone. So we have the backing piece. We then have a 2-layered system, so 2 pieces of something over the top of themselves. It doesn't have to be a tape and a paper. It could be 2 tapes. It could be 2 pieces of paper. It could be like a sticker that's kind of horizontally oriented or whatnot. And then we have the little embellishments. So 3 little embellishments here. And there could just be 2. Could be kind of like another little series. Could be some stars and sparkles or something. And then a darker piece here to add some contrast, kind of a thing. So you're just taking this, thinking about it in terms of the different elements that have gone into making it, and then trying to build your own version of that. That's saying, like, if you like this, if you look at this and you're like, brother, no, it looks like trash, then yeah, don't recreate it. But for the things you do like, you just break it down into those pieces and try and do your own version. Similar idea to this kind of thing, like we can break it down into the placement of the different elements and such. You can think about it in terms of the structure and like what's gone into a meals box and a priorities list, and like fitting those together. Maybe you just like this offset type thing. So if you're creating an individual page, maybe you have decoration in the top corner and the bottom corner and have 2 boxes that are offset from each other. Maybe that's something you like. So the more that you pay attention to those kind of things, the more that you will start to be able to like kind of like use the rules to make your own stuff without having to use it as like I am like making a copy of somebody else's work or whatever. But yeah, find the things that you like in terms of the way that they look visually or whatnot, break it down into the different aspects of what you like about them, and then try and bring that into your own space. Anywho, for your empty page, making a blank screenshot page and printing off the little funnies that used to screenshot that never look at again. Yeah, I have those in some parts of my journal because I started doing that too because I thought they were fun. Well, yeah, this one. Who the hell is in my Google Doc? I think furiously before realizing it's me in a different tab, kind of a thing. And then another one in here that was something about like showering or something, which was kind of funny, but I don't know where I put it because I just sprinkle them in every so often. I think there was one in January somewhere. Now I'm curious, so now I must go find it. Little pictures. Yeah. Maybe he lived somehow. Me, when a character is very, very obviously dead. Like, I think that those are fun. Yeah, take a shower. Oh, do you mean get pissed on by my own house? No thanks. So printing those off and sticking them into your journal is a really fun way to add some personalization. But having a think about this one. So I'm still going to do the panel of decoration on this side. Like by the panel, I mean, the sticky. Because over here is where we have all of the other stuff. Priorities doesn't need to be as long. Okay, we do not need to have a long priorities list. I am telling myself this more than I'm telling you, to the extent where I'm tempted to put the priorities underneath the meals section, which means I could use a panel of decoration, which would actually be kind of interesting in terms of like changing things up, because otherwise I do tend to have them all in the same spot, which would be kind of nice. Let's see. We just used this one, so we don't want to use that again. I don't mind this one for having some kind of pink purple in it, but that was the one that we also just used, so we're not using that one. Tee-hee. I like this one because it has a leaf. The leaf is kind of cool. Put that there. Yeah, that looks good. I like that one. And priorities can go down here. Where's the... I know you're here somewhere. There they are. I keep on misplacing these to the extent where I'm going to put the other one just up here so I can actually see it. So this one is going to go there at the same place as it has been for the other ones. And if we remember, because I counted it like 27 times, it goes 5 dot grid spaces down. See, that's the benefit of counting things out as many times as I do, is that then it sticks in your head hole really nicely, in theory. You'd hope it did, because there's how many counting times you had. But here we go, 1, 2, 3. Just some tape over the back so that then it will be nice and secure. Nice and secure. And we can stick this one in. 1, 2, 3, 4.
5. And just lining up the dot grid on the notepad paper. Which, I mean, technically it is a dot grid. It's just the dots are very, very small. This is more of like a full grid piece, but we'll stick that one in. Looking gorgeous. And I think for the priorities list, I'm wondering if I want to put it down here because that's like really tucked in. Yeah, stuff it. We're gonna do it. I feel good about it. It feels like the right choice. There we go. Prioritize. Nope, we're gonna move that over a little. I want it to be more. That looks a little bit better, or at least it looks more like what I wanted. And then we're gonna have it go 6 across and needs to start 1 down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we have those lines in there to make the little paper piece. The little paper piece that could. I think that having a priorities list this small feels quite interesting after the other ones that we put in before, but those other ones I'm not going to use all of the space on them anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Having it tucked into a corner here will do just fine. But I like this style of kind of like loosely structured daily log spaces. So notably, we haven't put in any headers for the days of the week or anything like that, or days of the month or cycle or anything, because we don't need to specify how much space those are going to get. It's more so they are just going to work amongst all of the other kind of like big rocks, right? Like if you think about it in terms of a stream, the water goes around the big rocks. This is a big rock. This is a big rock. Whereas the dailies are the water, they just flow in between the rest of them. Where is my pen? Now I need to make sure I put in my little pieces of tape because I love the way that the tape looks. I probably should have thought about that before I started putting this line in because I feel like the tape is actually going to go across here. But I don't really want it to because that is actually intended to be my checkbox. Maybe we just don't put tape on this one. Maybe we just leave it open. I already hate that. No, it's fine. I'll just put the tape in somewhere else. So that then I have that kind of like a pair. It's got another element of tape on the page because the tape will sit up on here, but I usually would put it on the priorities box, or at least I have for the last 2 weeks. But it's all good. Now, another issue we have is that it's going to sound like a really silly issue. The issue is that I really like the way this looks, and now I want to start using it this week, but I can't because we're not in May yet. Wah. Yes, very first world problem, but still. I hope that by having this set up, it doesn't like demotivate me to use my journal this week. What is going to demotivate me, though, is going away, because like we kind of mentioned, I don't do well with using my journal while I'm away. It's because I don't have things to do. Like, I have things to do. That's not quite right. But I use this a lot for planning my work, and when I'm away, I'm usually not working as much. Shock. Nobody is shocked. I think I might put this one down here. No, we're going to put this one up here. We're going to put this one up here. That's going to lay underneath that. That'll look cute. I like the contrast. I like that when the tape lays over the top of this one because it makes it more visible. I feel like I should have put this around the other way, but I didn't, so here we are. That one can go there. I also feel like I now want the green tape underneath of that. So I've not laid it down the full way so that then hopefully I can stick the tape underneath it. And we're going to put that piece along the top. Just don't do well with anything interrupting your routine. Yeah, I think that is very much a part of it. Is that because my I do have kind of like a set routine. Even if it's not one that I'm, what's the word? Like, consciously doing. Like, I'm not, like, consciously practicing my routine or whatnot. You know, everybody's saying, like, oh, we want the perfect morning routine. And, like, I need a morning routine and all of this. It's like, you've got a morning routine. You just maybe haven't intentionally chosen it for yourself. That's the same for me. It's like,
the routines that I have in my week get very disrupted when I go away, unsurprisingly. So I don't end up using my journal because like the cues that I probably have for that journal use habit are not there because I am not at home and not doing my regular stuff. But let's see. Will you do a journal of travels and activities? I say I probably won't, only because I don't typically like to record my memories in journal format. That being said, I have been curious about it. I make literally zero promises because I'd rather just film something than write something down, if that makes sense. Like that is kind of my preferred method. So I'd be more likely to do like a travel video journal, like as opposed to a physical journal, but never say never. I used to have a travel journal. And I've made videos on the channel about travel journals. It's just that they aren't usually what I use. Now, with these longer pieces, one of the things that I sometimes like to do is that if I'm trying to get like the placement correct, I will just peel up the back corner, cut the corner off so that then I only have one little piece that's sticky, which means that I can still move things around, find the right place, and then remove the rest of the backing. So that's the corner that's sticky. We can then lay this one down so that it is where I want it to be. I think I want it to be a little bit closer to the edge. And a little further down, just find that perfect placement, or at least perfect for what I want it to be. Stick down that corner and then peel the rest of the back off. Whee! Perfection. Perfection. Or at least good enough. That's looking pretty good. At least I think it is. So we've got that kind of layered piece along the side. And then we're going to have week 3 here. We're going to write, I'm not going to write anything. Meals will go here. And then priorities is already in. So this space is starting to look quite weird and open, but that's because it's going to be where I write down. Sorry, there's like a little piece of plastic here that I'm trying to get off while I do that. But this is where I'm going to just continue my daily logging and kind of hope that I don't need to have a header because I think it might look a little bit strange tucked in there. I also wonder if this is straight. Yeah, it is straight. I'm on an angle. Let's see. Yeah, I saw that you doing that in another video and was so confused by it. Oh, I see. Yeah, it is. If you're talking about the like cut apart and then not the rest, that is why I do it, because it just helps me lay things down where I want them to be before I kind of commit to the placement that I've put them in. It also means that if you do end up sticking something down in the wrong spot, you've only got a very small part of it to peel up, as opposed to having to peel up the entire back of it. I especially do it when I'm doing like a full page sticker. It doesn't have to be like a full page, but for instance, if we have a look at this month, yeah. So little Goober Ghosty study plan. This is one big sticker, so I just cut like an edge away to line that edge up, then stuck the edge down, peeled the rest of the backing off, and laid that down so that then it was all aligned nicely before I just went and whoopah, and then had to be like, oh, cool, it's on an angle. Now I need to pull off the entire page sticker and make a complete mess of things. Boo hiss. Which is definitely what would happen. It's definitely what would happen. But we can take this number 3, put this up here. Oh my gosh, I love the contrast of this lettering. It makes my soul happy. Contrast in my journal in terms of colors, that's just something I very much enjoy having. It makes for layouts that I enjoy more, and if I enjoy using my journal, I'm more likely to use my journal. Shocker. But then that has the flow-on effect of being more productive, getting more done, feeling more accomplished, yada, yada, yada. I will say that, like, I'm not very good at being proud of myself. Like, let me know if you can relate to this. I'm not very good at recognizing my accomplishments and feeling that sense of, like, pride that I did something, like anything. So with this whole, like, trying to live a healthier life, healthier than I was living at least. Getting to my what did we count it as before? My 43-day streak of doing exercise. As someone who does not exercise, I'm just like, good job, me. Actually feel like accomplished. And it's that weird sense of like, because I'm feeling accomplishment about that, now I'm like, what else could I tackle? Like, I could do anything. I could run a marathon. I'm not going to run a marathon. But I might one day, but that's not on the cards for me right now. But feeling that sense of pride about those kind of things has led me to like just build like self-belief, I guess, which is it's a good feeling. It is a good feeling. And so I would encourage you to do something that will make you proud of yourself, because it'll have this like, the audacity. It will have this flow-on effect to make you feel like you can do hard things. Craziness. So with this, I'm going to put the dots, and I'm not sure if I want to do vertical or horizontal. I think I might want to do vertical because I might do something else horizontal. So, something cute. And I also told myself before that I want to keep the decoration in this corner a little bit lighter so that it doesn't encroach into my meal. Come on, packing list. She can read. Yeah, I can do hard things. That's the right. You have done hard things. You can do hard things. And so to build that kind of like a repertoire of proof. This is my proof compendium. By doing hard things, because you can do hard things because you've done them. You do the hard thing, you then have proof you can do hard things. You do more hard things, which gives you more proof that you can do hard things, which means you're more willing to like tackle hard things. Cumulative causation, all right? Like it's a very powerful thing. And I would encourage everybody to undertake something that they think is going to make them proud of themselves. Even if it's like starting really small, right? Like my first proud thing, right? The first thing that I did as part of this in particular that made me proud, I took a walk outside. No, I didn't. I'm a walker now, remember? That idea of identity? I took a walk outside. I was like, hey, Vogel, do you want to go for a walk? He was so excited because he's been saying, like, hey, we should go on walks together, yada, yada, and stuff. And I'm just like, that sounds fucking gross. I don't want to do that. Sorry for the swearing, but like, that was essentially my response. Ew, no. But I did it. Did I enjoy it? No, not so much. But I felt good about it. I felt good about myself. I felt good about getting outside. The body was like, "Oh, fresh air. Who is she? Yes, please, more of this." And since then, 43-day streak of doing my little, we call them hot girl walks, like very tongue in cheek, because I'm like, yeah, no, I do not feel like a hot girl when I'm walking. I mean, I might feel a little bit warm, but anyway. So yeah, going on little hot girl walks good for my mental health. Crazy, but it works. So stupid doctors with their stupid advice that works, hate it. But anywho, that's looking cute. This one needs some work. We need a piece of green. We love a piece of green, and I think I'll just leave it at a green and maybe one of those stickers that add some kind of dark. Yes to the hot girl walks. Yes. But yeah, I find that having the kind of the evidence that I can do the thing has made me more likely to do the thing. It doesn't need to be crazy. You don't need to decide to take up an exercise habit like mine, where you actually like go walking outside or whatnot to keep the habit alive. I live in a spot where the weather cannot be relied on to be great. Like it doesn't really do well all the time. So one of the things that I have been doing to help with that is just setting the bar low of like I don't care where you walk, but you're going for a walk. And so I've been walking around my house on the days that it's been cruddy weather, like intentionally walking around my house. Like if we think about the layout of my downstairs, my downstairs living area or whatnot, we've got the kitchen, and then we've got like, this is all open, so this isn't actually a coffee corner, the dining table area, the lounge room kind of thing, and then this is like the cupboard, and there's a bathroom, whatever. But I just go around the kitchen island, out the door, through the door, through the lounge, back into the kitchen. So it's a really ugly figure 8. And I just walk around there. I just do laps, do like half an hour of it, kind of a thing. Hazards included. I bashed my hand again today. I didn't get a bruise this time, but I bashed my hand last week and it hurt so much. But that's fine because I didn't let it deter me. Going on my hot girl walk inside my house, kind of a thing. So it's just, yeah, around the kitchen island, around the other side, out the door, through the other door, past the television, around the corner, back through there. So it's just around. And just do that on repeat. It's not very exciting, but we have a TV that sits here. And so I just put on a podcast. So that's just going. So I have something to listen to while I do my little hot girl walk on the inside of my house. It doesn't need to be outside. We don't have to go outside and like face the world to still take care of ourselves, which is nice. So this is looking cute. We need to write down the rest of the little meal plan slots. Did I do that on the last one? Yeah, no, I did. That's good. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Also, if you want somebody to like blame for me trying to take better care of myself, it's Monica's fault. She did it. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Monica was taking care of herself, so I was like, I should do that, and now I'm taking care of myself. And you know what? Things are nicer with friends. The power of having accountability, which, like, you know, technically speaking, we're not there to like hold each other accountable. It's just nice to feel like somebody else is going on the journey with you. You know, the journey of my figure 8s through my through my kitchen. I will take the blame. Thank you, Monica. We all say exactly. She's doing great things. She's out there doing the good work. But use a washi on opposite corners of the priority box diagonally. That'd be kind of cute. We could do that, actually. That's a really good point. The only thing is that I haven't done any diagonal tape in other places, but I do kind of like the idea of that. So maybe I'll just make the exception. I'm just going to cut this in half and we'll probably not need to use all of it. I don't think I need quite that much, but that'll look kind of cute. Yeah, buddy care. That's the right. Yeah. What is it? You guys seen Finding Nemo? And in the part where they're like going through the tube or whatever, the turtles, the turtles, and they're like, you know, do you have your riding buddy or like whatever it is? I can't remember what it's called, but it's effectively that. Yeah, it's like my accountability buddy, but not necessarily for accountability. Okay, rip that little piece off. That's looking pretty cute. And then we can put the other piece over here. Here. I don't want it to be quite that long though. I don't think I'm going to be able to rip this off nicely. So I'm just going to trim it and deal. That looks pretty cute. Little priorities box. Look at that. Ain't that the sweetest? Yeah, the left edge of the priority box vertically. Yeah, we were going to... I was going to do it here, but then it was going to cover up all of my checkboxes, which is why I decided not to do it that way. But it's all good. It's there. It's great. What I actually would like to get, because winter is coming, you know, and as a walker, a white walker, I don't want to white walk outside when it's raining. I don't like it. One, my shoes aren't waterproof. Two, as soon as I get any moisture on my face, it just gives me the ick. And I don't like the feeling of it, so I just don't want to walk outside. Like, I know, yeah, okay, sure, I could get a balaclava and waterproof shoes, but no, ew. So I was going to get myself maybe a walking pad, effectively like a treadmill that's just like really small. It's a really small treadmill. But I could sit that in front of the TV, I was thinking, and I could like play my Xbox games and such while I walk. And I thought the idea of that was so cool because it's like I'm taking care of myself, but I'm also having fun, which is taking care of myself. So it's like, yay! Yeah, a walking pad is an excellent idea. Thank you. I thought it was an excellent idea. So I thought that'd be kind of cool, but I haven't really actioned it yet. this needs some work, needs some TLC. I'm actually tempted to just put in another piece of the paper, even though I haven't put 2 on any other layout. But I like the look of it. And it fills in space nicely, and it means I don't need to go and find, like, if we think about these tags or whatnot, a lot of them are quite large, and I just need something small. And the nice part about with ripped paper is that you can rip it to whatever size you want. So I was thinking maybe this, actually maybe the other side, because I like the words on that side better. Not that I'm going to be reading it or anything, but this one's talking all about, like, elevation, ennoblement, knighthood, person of repute, honored, reader, worthy, sound man. I'm like, yeah, nah. On the other side, it says worship, to know how something, appreciate, prize, value, tender, love. I'm like, yeah, see, that sounds nicer. I like that. We're going to put that over here. And we're going to rip off just the edge here. I don't want to rip off the word tender because it's feels like a nice word, unless it's like Tender as the Flesh, which is a book that is not so nice. I mean, it's a great book. Don't get me wrong, very good book. But the concept of it is not as pleasant. But I'll put that here. That looks pretty good. And then we'll stick a little piece of darker something over the top of it so that we have the contrast. The contrast, which makes me so happy. You love your walking pad? Yeah. I was I like the idea of things like a standing desk or whatnot, but my desk is not a standing desk, and I know you can get those, like, on-desk things, like the elevators or whatnot, the things that rise, so that then you can stand and type and whatnot, but the idea of having to keep one of those in my office, I'm like, you would just not use it, because it would be too much of a hassle to put it away or anything like that. I didn't realize, I don't know if you can tell, but there is one of those dot stickers stuck to my desk. Get off. How'd that get there? You snake. Get out. Yeah, listen and talk while walking. I think that would be too clumsy for any activity. Yeah, I think that the gaming I do worry about, because, like, you know, the character runs and then I'd be, like, turning to go with them. And I'm like, no, Jess, you need to just stay on your walking pad. But I like podcasts for walking. For the longest time, I just didn't understand the appeal of podcasts at all. I was just like, ew, why would I want to, like, listen to somebody talk at me? But I hadn't found the right podcasts. Now I quite enjoy podcasts. One would hope so. I have a podcast. But this is looking gorge. We love. So for next week's stuff, no, we're not up to next week. Don't even be thinking about that. No, we wanted something dark here. Okay, you gotta make sure you finish the job before you continue on with something else. Now, I've got these ones that look like the top of a spiral notepad, and I kind of love them. Oh gosh, aggressive. So sorry. But I do think that I would like them to be aligned properly. No, you have tweezers for this, man. There we go. We're just going to do it to there, because I think that if it keeps going across, it'll end up looking a little silly. And now it looks like the tape is a part of a spiral notepad. It is a little silly, but I kind of love it. I do have a little bit more of that, though. Could have stuck it along here onto the priorities box. Kind of tempted to put that in there. There we go. Now the priorities box also has some decoration, which looks a little silly, but I love it. Yeah, you're the opposite. You just love walking in the rain. Yeah, I like the rain. I just don't like my face getting wet. And because of the whole waterproof shoes, or rather not waterproof shoes, it just makes me a soggy, miserable mess. Yeah, you also don't like having to wear a jacket when it's hot. Yeah, and then you're just sweaty and wet and gross. I have my walking getup is, 1, the same top that I always wear because I have like 8 of it. 2, my leggings, because I don't like the feeling of my because I most of the time I wear yoga pants, but when I'm walking, because of the movement of the fabric, it like rubs on my legs and it's just really uncomfy. So I have not been using those. I'm just trying to check and see if I put a dash here. I did not. We're okay. So my walking getup is literally my not waterproof shoes, regular socks, my leggings, my regular top.
I have a black hat now because I bought myself a cap. Because I was like walking around in my area, given how windy it is, the wind just, every single hair gets picked up, and then that ends up in my face, and then I spend most of the walk just going pit, 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 because my hair's in my face. So like, okay, wear a hat, so then it's out of the way, and my sunglasses, because I just, even if it's overcast, I prefer to wear my sunglasses. It also means that when it gets windy and such, I'm not going to get my hair blown into my eye. Like, the hat and the sunglasses, they work together. They are a pair. It means that I'm not going to do myself an injury. I also want to have a little sticker of something up here, so I think I'm going to put in another one of those paper clips, because we haven't seen the paper clip in a second. I was before trying to trim the paper clips down so that they actually looked like they clipped something in, but it got too hard. I think I'm going to put the paper clip this way. That looks kind of cute. There we go. Tee-hee. I love it. I think it looks really nice. If I do say so myself. Yeah, wear one of those headbands over your ears because your ears are too small for the earbuds and they never stay in. Very fair. I have over the ear headphones, like the larger ones, the ones with like the noise cancelling Sony whatevers. They work very nicely. I quite like those. So week 4 was here, which means that next week should go like here, and remember can go here-ish. I don't know. Let's see. So if this is my meals, that's just going to be flow on dailies. That's my packing list, if not the whole page, depending on how much I need to pack, because stuff. Then the next week list doesn't need to be too long, but we'll just shove the sticker here, and then I can just write things in. And then this one I decided I wanted over here. Makes me wonder, should I put the priorities list below that? If week 4 sits here, I'm thinking about how I want to do this. I think I like this part here, maybe. No, because I also kind of like that, don't I? But I did pick this one so that it could sit over the top of that and have good contrast. So I don't think I need it. Okay, so that's going to go here. We need a clip because this page is having a time. I've stuck things in this journal and now it doesn't sit the way it should. If we do that there, I also haven't played around with any of my leaves. I need to make sure to use leaves. So I might put a leaf over here. So we can put this one here, that way, and we'll just make it a little smaller. That goes here, and then that goes here. Like that, roughly. That looks kind of cute. Okay. Yeah, I find that a lot of the time with this kind of collage-y style, with the scrapbooky pieces and whatever, is that there's a lot of back and forth of me just like switching pieces out and being like, okay, do I want that here? Do I want that there? Yada yada. Which does take me a second, but I do typically find that I like the end product, even if it takes a while. And that's the thing. You like the journal, you use the journal. You use the journal, you get things done. Can I get the back of this tape off? That will be the real question. Yeah. No. The struggle. There we go. We did it. And I think that I want this one to be there. Cute. Sometimes when I'm doing the collage scrapbooky style as well, with the little pieces of paper that I stick down, I'm like, it's going to go underneath something. It doesn't really matter if I get like perfect adhesion to the page, because I'll lay a sticker over the top of it and that will have it stuck down. It's like, it's not going to fall out. So it's all good. The next week space, I think I'll put here, because I will just keep it as like a drop space for anything that I think of while I'm away. It's like, got to do that next week. And I think that I'm going to position it so that it's actually a proper column header, which means that we're going to stick the next in first. So one of the things that I also do appreciate, given the fact that I've been journaling as long as I have, is that because I use essentially the same size journal every single time, I'm very familiar with the amount of spacing that I need for things, which means that I don't have to pre-sketch things in because I can kind of rely on my past experience of knowing how much space things take up. So, for instance, like we've been talking about with these 2 columns that I do most of my writing in, I know, because I've done it as many times as I have, that 1 column is 6 centimeters. Makes it a little easy for me. Oh, wish you luck going to brave the weather and go for a walk. Have fun. I was not that brave, but I also don't have a dog, so, if I want to walk inside, it's no big deal. Because I don't have somebody else relying on me. But yeah, so because I've done it as many times as I have, it's just nice and easy, because I just know where things go. I think I'll put some of the little dots down the bottom, because we love it. We love the consistency of using them throughout all of the pages. And I do them in the same order every time. I don't necessarily put them in the same, what's the word? It's technically not the same order, but it's like, I'll do like a reverse order sometimes. So like this time I've done the brown, the darker pink, and then the lighter pink. Whereas sometimes I'll have them like the other way around. Just depends on what I feel like at that moment. But having them as that set trio means that then there's another aspect of consistency. Even though things change from layout to layout, there is something that kind of unifies them, ties them together, because that's the kind of thing that I like. I like matchy-matchy. That's actually looking pretty good. I'm going to add something dark over the top of something somewhere, but for the most part, it's looking pretty okay. Now we have this part. And this is the part where the wrap breaks down. We need that panel along the side because we specifically selected it. We need the meal plan. We need the week header. Where did I put the week header? I know you were here somewhere. No, it wasn't here somewhere. We're okay. Yeah, no idea when she left, but I hope the walk is nice. Yeah, hopefully the walk is nice. She was only left 2 minutes ago. So I hope she has a good time. So the week 4 header is going to go up here. We're going to have something green underneath it. We have the meals there-ish. Which the meals are going to be interesting because, I mean, technically for this day and for the other day, this week and the last week, because I will be traveling and because the travel time is like, a bit, like 29 hours of something, 29 hours of travel time, at least in one direction. I don't know what the other direction is. I miss a day on this week, or like I'm in the air for part of it, whereas for the other one, it's like I kind of get like a repeat of a day or something like that. Ooh, need a water refill. Very good point. Tink. Good idea. Gotta stay hydrated. But yeah, because of the way that things work out, it's going to be a little bit interesting in terms of timing. That's okay though. So this one we will still stick so that it is 5 down, and I'll still put the meals header to the side because I like the consistency of that. The remember header can go over here, but I might actually not stick it in. I will keep it for when I need it. Similar idea is that I have all of these mind unwind stickers for when I want to do little brain dumps and such. But I don't necessarily know when or where I want to do that, but I have one per week so that I have the opportunity to put those in. One thing that I did want to do though is that I wanted to have a priority section and a migrated section. And I also had a go wild section. And I think that this one was for stuff to do for go wild, but I don't know when I'm going to need to use that either. So we can put that to the side. That one doesn't need to get stuck in, but these ones need to get stuck in. I think migrated will end up down the bottom. Priorities can go over here. And I'm thinking that I might stick the priorities list like underneath this. I thought that would be kind of interesting because I probably don't need heaps of priority space, but I could use a chunk. Yeah, it'll add some visual interest, and if it doesn't work out, it's cool because it's the last week of the cycle, and then I can just make a new one. That'll be fine. But rolling. rolling. I love roller tapes. They are a lot easier to use than the like cut to size ones. The only problem is that they are less precise. Like if I'm using one that is on like a sellotape roll, kind of like a roll of tape like this or whatnot, you can get it a lot closer to the edges, or at least I can, which means that you can usually get better adhesion. But for the sake of ease, the roller tape is easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That there and there. That is not straight. Try again. We're doing this on like a really odd angle. Don't you dare. Get out of there, sir. That's looking good enough. Good enough. Alrighty, question. Is Go Wild something you're going to do every year? Okay, so when I first went to Go Wild, the plan was like, this is my one and done. Like, I'm going to go once, I'm going to see like what the hype's about and stuff, and just like, enjoy my time there and then be finished with it. And then I have gone each year since. So I'm not necessarily sure, but it is the nice part about it is that it is my one big opportunity to see my international friends a lot of the time, because my international friends, I typically know them through journaling. So I use it as an opportunity to go and see them. Maybe by lightly bullying them into going. No, okay, I'm not bullying my friends, but one of my friends this year, she's just like, oh, I'm not sure if I want to go, kind of thing. And I'm like, I'm going. It'd be great to see you there. Like, it's cool if you can't make it, but I would love to see you. And she's like, fine, I'll go. So she's coming along, which is always nice. But outside of, Zoom calls or whatever, that kind of thing, I don't really get to see them because we live kind of far away from each other, funnily enough. So it is my opportunity to see them. It's not necessarily something that I am dead set on, like, yes, every single year I will be going to this and I must go, and if I don't go, then the world is over. But I like it. I like having that opportunity. The only thing I kind of dislike about it, quote, there's quotes here I'm just writing, is that because the location is set by the organization team, obviously, it means that I'm seeing parts of the US that I probably wouldn't, not necessarily don't want to see, but it's like those are the ones that I wouldn't necessarily put forward for myself as like, oh, yep, I'm going to go see X, Y, Z of a place, which some people could say like is a benefit, you get to experience more places. But when resources are limited, not so limited that I can't go, but it's like, when you want to be able to go and see other places and other things and such, there is that way up of like, okay, well, is putting my resources, time, energy, money towards this worth it? Like, am I going to get out of this as much as I would get out of taking a trip with Vogel, for instance? Like that's a pretty big example of it. It's like, if I'm going to be spending money to go overseas and such, do I want to go wild and see my online friends because I love to go see them, or do I want to take a trip with Vogel? I mean, like, there is also the question of like, do you want to do both? Da, 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 da. But it's whether like you can, like, if it's financially viable type of thing, or time off viable or whatever. In terms of the places, I'm not too sure, but this year around, I think that part of the decision-making process is that one of the organizers, she can't go very far afield kind of thing, and I think that's like close to where she's based, which makes sense because, she was one of the founders, creators or whatnot of the conference, so it would be nice for her to actually be able to go, but because of her like medical needs, she has to be closer to home, which is very fair. So I'm not too fussed about it. I'm not too fussed about like where we go for the most part, but it's just like there are places in the States that I would like to see that I have not seen, and I don't think they'll probably go to those places, at least not for a while. Like, it's fine. I can always go by myself. It's just there are also other places around the world that I would like to see. Like, I would like to go to do a European tour. That would be cool.
Also, yay, Jess being a member. I'm pretty sure you're not a new member. I'm pretty sure that that's just YouTube lying to me. But yay for Jess being a member. If you're wondering, that's the Hex library.
So, put that one in here, looking super cute.
Week 4, boom. And then we'll put the little meals header to the side like we have done for the other ones. We'll put that one like there. Yeah, I had to renew because of credit card drama. I know, right? Like they don't make it easy for us, right? Like trying to find receipts from Google stuff is like such a mission, to the point where I ended up bookmarking the space to go and check for them because I couldn't remember how to get to them every time I had to look it up. Like every time I had to Google how to get to the Google receipt space, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I'm gonna put this one here. I'm thinking I'll put the priorities header over the top because that'd be kind of cute. But in terms of drawing in the priorities, I'm going to just draw them in here. We'll just put that there. We're going to put the sticker here, and we're going to put that down to about here. That looks cute. I'm going to effectively make the priorities list as long as the sticker because I don't think I'm going to have a lot of priorities right down. I'll just like use the space that I do have there. Now, the ordering of this is kind of important because I need to stick that in and then also stick this in and all that. So it's going to be this pen, then the black pen, then the sticker, then the header. A little bit of a mess, but we're getting it done. So, did I put this in the wrong place? Yes, I totally did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then that line should actually be 1 over. So I'm going to draw the line 1 over. And I'm not going to cover this one up unless it becomes an issue. I don't think it will be an issue, but it is a little unfortunate. It's fine. So, okay, past Jess, looking at that would have been like, oh my gosh, ruined this page. Like, we need to cover this up. It's unsightly. It's awful type of a thing. And like, sure, it's not what I wanted. I didn't want there to be that line on the edge there. But once I go over it with the black marker, I don't think it'll be so noticeable. I say marker, it's not a marker, it's a fine liner. Like, I'll still be able to probably see it, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to be that bad. If it is annoying me, like by the time that we get to the black line work, I'm just like, yeah, no, that's still annoying me. It's still giving me the ick. Then I will cover it up. That is fine. I don't mind covering up a mistake if it means that I'm more likely to enjoy using my page. But until I get to that point where I'm like, okay, yeah, this actually isn't going to work out, I'm just going to leave it. Make my life easier, not having to fix the mistake. I very rarely stick pages of a notebook together. Even since I started using my journals, even when I had something that I was like, ugh, that's not what I wanted, like that looks silly, I still wouldn't stick pages together. Not very often. The only time I would stick a page together if I had like massive bleed through to the other side or something, that one I would, stick something together. But
okay, let's have a look. So the black pen does lay down a little thicker on this one, probably because the paper's already kind of wet a little bit.
But it's not super noticeable. I mean, like, you can barely see it on camera. You can see it a little better in person, but like, it's really not that bad. So, put this one here. Actually, I'm wondering about this sticker placement. So, in doing that thing that we did before, right, where we lay down part of it, but not the whole thing. And I'm also wondering about, I really do like that idea of having a little cream paper. Let's see. We're gonna layer this here just to see what it's gonna look like when we're done. So the priorities header is going to go here. And that's gonna go there, and that's gonna go there. So we're gonna peel off the top part of this and stick it down. Because this is transparent, if I lay this over, you can kind of see the line underneath it. I don't really want to see the line underneath it. So we will cut off the top of this sticker. Where'd that plastic piece go? I know you're there. There you are. Sneaky.
So we're going to put this one on the page, but so that it can be brought up again. I'm going to adhere it so it's about there-ish. That looks pretty good. And then it doesn't dip below that. Okay. Yep. Okay. So this top part of the sticker has been stuck to the page, but that means that this lower part I can still pull up and do my line work. So I can see from a glance here is that the line work that comes across the top, because I don't want it underneath this, needs to come to just like that dot effectively. So just a little before that dot. Draw across from there. There we go. Looks cute. Make sure that. See? Ta-da! And we just do across from here. Da-da-da-da-da. There we go. And then like I could try and do a little bit of line work in here. Like if I just go and do maybe the smallest little bit in there or something. So you can see that that one kind of sits under there. Maybe just like a tiny, tiny bit here. And that looks pretty cute, but it means we don't have the line underneath the cream part, which would kind of show up the line and such. And I don't want to do that. So that's looking pretty cute. The line at the bottom can just go the whole way across. That one's not a problem, like with the broken line work that we're doing, because we don't have any of the tape sitting there. Like we have the transparent part of the tape, like that part there will sit over the top, but we won't see anything with that, so that's fine. That can go all the way across. And then we need to think about the side panel. And the side panel has this little doily piece, which I probably want to not draw through, because like I could get really fiddly and try and draw in the middle of the holes. I'm not going to do that. We also have this leaf and this leaf here. So we can kind of come from the top and go to roughly halfway between that dot and the next. So about there-ish. Which I will definitely turn my notebook because it'll make my life easier. But then that kind of sits there. Not too bad. Turn the notebook. Always align your notebook so that then it's easier to draw your things in, because otherwise you will make mistakes. And your lines will look janky and then you'll be sad at yourself. This one will come up to about here. Yeah, Go Wild is crazy. Yeah, it is not a cheap experience. Like I still enjoy it, but I can understand that for most people that would not be something that they could like warrant spending that kind of funds on. It is a valid concern. A little further down. There we go. Okay, so the line work's looking pretty cute. We can now peel off the back of that sticker and stick in the rest of it. Making sure to adhere it to the page nicely, so it's all lined up nicely. Ta-da! Oh my gosh, so cute. We need to kind of adhere that better by like rubbing over the top of it with my nail. But we also have the priority sticker that's going to go here, and then I need to figure out where I want to put this piece of tape. And I'm kind of tempted to just put it on the bottom corner here, because then it's tucked out of the way, because I feel like I don't want to cover over the boxes like we had before. And I don't want to take up too much of the writing space that I have in there, because so much of it is already taken up with this sticker, which is fine, because I'm not going to have hella priorities to write down that week, because I will be recovering from my trip away. But I need to figure out getting the backing off this tape, which can be a little tricky. We will get there. We persevere. We persevere. And there we go. And I would have liked to have stuck that in before I did the line work, but I forgot to. So here we are. If that bothers me though, what I would typically do, if like for instance I'm using a tape that's a lot more pale or something like that, I would usually just get out a little white sticker label and stick it over the dark line work, and then stick the tape over the top of that. So you're kind of like fixing a mistake, quote quote, and then sticking your regular piece of decoration over the top of that mistake fix. Not super noticeable, which is good. Okay, priorities label goes here. Love that. I do wish that it came a little further over. I could move it. Okay. Though I have adhered this really well to the page, so... oh no. Okay, that's alright, that's alright, that's alright, that's alright. There we go. When I do the layering of pieces, I don't like the layering to finish at exactly the same point because it looks a little strange. IMO, in my honest opinion. So hopefully you can kind of see that, like, where that darker section of the tape here is, the final part of the black box was like kind of aligned but not perfectly aligned, and that's the reason why I try and intentionally make it so that they're offset, so that then it's not an issue. It doesn't look like you just kind of failed to line things up, I guess, because it is intentionally overhanging. That's a little trick to make it so that then you don't get annoyed at your layouts. It's like, no, I meant for it to overhang, and it looks like I meant for it to overhang, so it's all good. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's looking pretty sweet. I feel like I want something dark up the top here. You can take this sticker off. And I'm just going to put on... I'm going to bring back the dots because we haven't used the dots in a while, and I liked the dots. They were on the first weekly section. So, these ones. Yeah, when I say the dots, I mean these dots, not the individual dot stickers from before. That looks pretty good. I'm pleased with it. I mean, when it sits there in the light, it looks a little bit strange, to be honest. But if you kind of tilt it slightly, not too bad. Excellent. So the migrated section will go here. This can just be a space for more daily logging and such. And then we just needed to do the decoration on this space because I don't have any kind of, like, before next month sticker or anything like that, which means a panel. And I kind of wonder, like, which of these panels have I used? And the easiest way to figure it out is probably just to look for double ups. Like this one I know I used. This one I know I used because those ones they stand out. That one I know I used because of the boxes. So I guess the only one I haven't used is this one with the bow. So I'm going to use that one. Because it means that then next time I use these, all of these are unique. So I don't have excessive, like, doubling up of decoration style. I can put all of those back into my sticker storage. Sticker storage is an ongoing project for me. I recently found a fix which I thought worked pretty good. Tink. But I have a sneaking suspicion that it means I'm going to have, like, more stuff to store, and I don't really have enough space in there. Mm-hmm. What do you put in the migrated space? Just last week's migrated things, unfinished? Yes, that is effectively it. Not anything, but the stuff that I have decided, like, it is still something that needs to be done. It's still something I want to do, and I need to just keep it top of mind. So, for instance, let's just say, like, working on week 1 and week 2. A little bit of sticker stuff there, but week 1, week 2, getting things done as much as I can. Week 3, go away. Week 4, I come back and it's like, okay, well, what was still on my plate? Because the stuff from week 2 is now all the way back here. So it's like, okay, we'll pull out any of the ones that are still relevant, still have to be done, that kind of thing. Add that to this section. I'm not expecting there to be huge amounts of stuff. That's why it's kind of a small space, but I can also use this part as well. So over here, for the decorations, I think we'll put this panel. We'll put the little paper down here, and I'm gonna rip a little bit more off of it and put a little bit that there. That, get in the bucket. Oi, get in the bucket. I'm trying to, like, put things in my little bucket and they're just falling out. I'm like, excuse me, no. We're going to put this one here, and we're going to layer that up with some green, because I like to use a green in either corner. About yay much green. Decent chunk of green. And then that one. And then I might put this one here and then put the dots there. And by that I mean the individual dot stickers, not the darker pieces that we've been playing with. Here we go. That looks pretty well aligned. Yeah, need to add a migration system for yourself. Yeah, I was trying to do weekly migration because that's like, you know, recommended by the bullet journal method or whatever. I just couldn't keep up with it. I just found that like I'd print the stickers off for every single week and just wouldn't use them. So I was like, okay, you're not going to use them every single week. So how about you intentionally target weeks to do the migration? Sticker attacked me. It's attacked me. I don't know what color that came from. That one? Yeah, why not? That's looking pretty good. So rather than trying to do it every single week, I'm like, yeah, I'll pick and choose the weeks that I actually do the migration so that then I actually do it. Otherwise, I just end up with tasks upon tasks that sit in my back catalog. And because I can't trust myself to bring them forward, it means that the brain says, oh, well, then I have to be the one to remember this because my system can't be relied on to have those tasks actioned in a timely manner if I don't get to them like on the day or on the week that I initially said that I would do them on. So the brain is like, cool, I got you. I'll pick up the slack. I won't let you forget this. Which means that then I have mental capacity that's being used up for stuff that doesn't really need to be used up in that way. You know, brains are made for having ideas, not for holding them, kind of a thing. So if the brain is sitting there trying to do all this work to remember something because you can't rely on your system to remind you of it or like to capture that information in a way that it's findable again, then the brain's like, cool, I'll do that. I'll do that instead. I don't want the brain to do that. I don't want the brain to feel like that's its job. I think that the brain's job, my brain, not necessarily yours, mine, its job is to have the ideas, and then my job is to capture them in a way that means that that information can be accessed at a later date. And the migration system is a way of making sure that those things don't get lost. And this is the thing, it doesn't necessarily need to get migrated to that list. There might be things that get migrated to other places. So for instance, in my yearly collections journal, for instance, if we grab that one out, this one here, my yearly collections journal, Clonk, has a space dedicated to those kind of tasks. We call them deferred missions or future me problems. And this just has a space that I jot any of those things down. So then it's like, hey, I want to do this at some point, but it's not right now. It's not this week's task. It's not this month's task or anything like that. Yeah. And this has been your Get Things Done crash course. The best part is I haven't even read Get Things Done. That is on my list of things to do. That is in my someday maybes list. Yeah, this has been your Get Things Done crash course. Essentially, yeah. I want to read that book though, because I think that it would be very helpful for me. Even though I kind of like seem to know most of the concepts already, I think that having read it, it'll probably give me a bit more insight. But yeah. So, what else is going on here? Just decoration. We're good for it. We're good for it. And I think we're just going to go kind of simple, kind of easy mode. Put in some green along the top. I want that to go this way. The nice part about this tape is that there's no set, like, this is the right order or like direction or whatnot. It's a nice pattern though. I think that I do want some more of that paper. Go, put that there, put that there. There. But I also think I like the dots here. I'm going to put the dots in the top corner. So I might put those in first so that then I make sure I have space for them. Yeah. I've been fighting since we started this video to get my sizing right for my printing your headers. Oh, that's so frustrating. Do you find that your printer prints to size? Like, is it like a true size printer, or is it printing not to true size? Because I find that my printer is pretty good with printing to size, like true size, so long as my paper that I have said that it has in there is actually the correct size of paper. Because sometimes my printer's just like, oh yeah, you want letter size, right? I'm like, I have never owned letter size paper in my life. Please stop. So I have to make sure I've said that correctly. But also, what can be helpful is printing off some reference boxes. So you size them on your computer to be, XYZ size. So maybe like for me, in terms of my headers, I like my headers to be like 1 centimeter by 6 as the maximum because I do the columns. So in terms of like mind, unwind, or whatnot, I'd want that to sit within 1 centimeter and across. Yeah. So if you make a box on your printing software or whatever you're using to make your headers, and just print it off on regular basic ass cartridge paper so that you don't mind wasting it. And you're going to size some boxes that you can use as reference. So maybe like a 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter, and a 5 by 5, and a 6 by 6, or something like that. Print them off and see how big your printer actually prints them. Like, does it actually print it at 6 centimeters by 6 centimeters? Or is it printing it at like 5.8? Or is it printing it too big and it's actually like 7.5 and your printer is completely crazy? Like, having that as a reference though can help you scale things appropriately on your computer, so that then you can print them off in the sizes you actually want. Yeah, and like we've got in the comments there, like, yeah, make a note of how you did it, make a note of what size you used, so that then next time you don't have to do that work again. It makes your life just a little bit simpler. All right, so we're gonna put this one here. Stick that one down. And where's my tweezers? There we go. Thank you so much. I think I'll put it there. Doesn't need to hang over. Not everything has to hang over the edge, even though like every other section probably has. And we will stick this one in. I like this leaf, so I want the leaf to kind of stay around. Yeah. And trim part of it off. Making sure not to cut your finger, because that's not fun. Ask me how I know. No, I'm kidding. I haven't done that. Not that I know of, at least. Because, oof, that would be rough, buddy. And we're going to line that one up with the dots. Whichever piece of the tape is the straightest. That looks pretty good. And then roll it down. Stick it in. Rub it with the back of your nail so that it has really, really good adhesion. And then make sure that nothing's sticking out the outside of the journal, because that is a surefire way to annoy me. Okay. Checking edges. Got to make sure that they are all in where they're supposed to be. So, yeah, we're good. Make sure that you don't paper cut yourself while doing this. We have a slight edge here, which is coming off of this sticker. Get rid of that, because it's annoying. Okay, that's fine. That one is good. This one is good, 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 and good. And then on that page we were just working on, we need some darkness. And for that, we're going to use just some... I don't know what this is supposed to represent. Maybe like the middle of a spiral bound book or something, but I'm just gonna put that over the top of there just to have some depth in that section. Yay! Isn't it looking cute? I'm excited. Now, the thing is, like, bullet journal system, rah, rah. Do we need decoration like this? No. But this, it being in here, especially given the fact that my next month is going to be busy, it just means that I'm going to be more likely to get in and use this, right? If I like the way it looks, I will use it. If I have these sections set up to help myself function, I will use them, or at least I'm much more inclined to. So having a look at what we've got, we already had the week 1 space with the priorities, the meals, the little migrated space, and then the only daily header that we have in the setup, because I do daily logging still.
I don't need to go through and section out different spaces for each of them because I probably won't be able to do it. Unrelated to this, but have you finished Double Exposure? I have. I made a layout in my reading journal for it as well. Like I think we had that in the last reading journal wrap up video because I put it here. So there's my Double Exposure blurb, but that one is in the May reading wrap up. March. She knows months. She doesn't know months. She's obviously confused. But yeah, this one's looking good. Got plenty of space for doing my daily logs. Daily logs over here with just some minimal decoration. We then have week 2, which has the same sections, but also before I go instead of migrated, because I can't be relied on to do the migration every single week. More daily logging space, leaving myself like 2 full spreads for this week because it's going to be a busy week. And then coming into the week after, this is when I go away. So I don't need as much space, but I do need a packing list, okay? So we've got the meal space. This is just going to be the continuation of any daily logging. The packing list space is here. And then over this side, it's probably going to end up getting shared with week 4. So next week box, roughly here, more daily logging space, migration to bring things forward, and then I'll finish out the month here. Hopefully you've enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you. I'm feeling very positive about how my journal's looking for next month because this month has been a bit of a write-off, to be completely honest, a bit of a slog. I'll see you in the next one. Have a fabulous rest of your day, and yeah, make sure you drink your water. Bye for now.